So, we're gonna need a ruling from the people. Zelort popped into the chat. It's looking like 15 minutes before the start of the stream. And said first. When we say first, are we considering first as soon as the stream starts? Because by this logic, I feel like you could also justify that someone who comes in on Monday, a Monday that's not a silly comp Sunday makeup day, and just posts first, would be able to get it, right? Are we creating a system here where people are camping outside the store, waiting? Is that the world we want to live in? Is that what we want to put people through for it? I don't know. Wait, we need a political decision here about whether that counts. Now, Blipblob was second, but came in and said third. So there's an argument that they're also wrong. By which measure Ane would actually win, except that they really weren't first by any stretch of the imagination. So there are no winners here. It's just a question of who lost the least, I would say. Anyway, hello to Go Away Monday. I'm 2 seconds late. I'm not that kind of teacher. Just take your seat. It's more of a problem for me to deal with if you don't. Hi, Shaluna. Hi, King Julian. Hi, Get Out Marutak. Hello, Rainbow Archer, or Rainy. I don't know if we're going to have the other Rainy or not. Hello, Villager SK. Villager is one of our VOD reviewees for today. Hello, Starkiller. Hello, Ace Astro. Hello, Ramzabu. Hi, Superstar ZX. Hi, Mr. Anonymous the Goat. I have not watched all of PAX. I do need to go in and see the rest of that, because there's a lot of stuff there for me to study about where the meta's at right now. I was watching Crush Soda, and I am pleased to see that they are still running about the same comp that my team runs. So, we're doing something right there, right? So, hello Umami Bites, and hello Flameburst Forever. Hello Ridley. Hello Vevev. Hello Lulin. Hi Trendless. Stream starts not before stream. Alright, we've got one vote. Hello Devi. Hello Goblin Gobber. Oh, sorry, Gobbling. No, it is Goblin Gobber. Or Gobbling Ober? I don't know what the second word is, so it's hard to say. Hello Fire Luna. I would argue that you should only get first if the stream is actually started. Makes sense. Yeah, I guess the message doesn't show up on the restream chat that way otherwise. So should it be the first one that shows up on the restream chat? That would be a way to handle it. Then there's video evidence. Jem, I just realized you kind of look like Jerma. A lot of people just realized that a long time ago. See, the thing is, I'm a skinny white man. And all of those look the same. So, yes, I do look like Jerma. And hello, Adrian Splatoon Dude. Hello, Alyssa. Hello, Old Ratty? Yeah, Old Ratty. Hello, Trendless. Hello, Savage Cabbage. Hello, Arm the Arm. Hi, Charged Bonsai. Ane says it does not count. You can't wait at the finish line of a race and cross it as soon as someone says go. I saw someone else not in chat, but in the thing that shows who's watching. Ah, okay. So you're counting based on that. Hello, Fauna. I had to make sure it wasn't an L at the end. Hello, Fauna. Hello, Wolfie. Just got back from Splatoon school? Oh. What, from... There are a number of other things you could be referring to, and I'm curious which one. Hello, Jamie. Hello, the President. Hi, Z-Tech. Here's hoping your computer doesn't explode. Same. Same. It hasn't happened, and it's been like 6 minutes, so we're doing good so far. Yes, Jamie, we will be needing an extra player here. We have a second VOD reviewee, but they will not be here until VOD review time, because they have work, I think. So. Goblin go burr. Oh, it's 3 words. I get it now. I think another R and I might have gotten it. What happened to your PC? Yesterday it blue screened twice during the stream. Very early on. Before we even got to the first comp, I think. It was bad. So, fortunately, I've already given Devi the stream key before. I trust her with it. And she was present, so we were able to stream it off her computer to the same channel, and it worked. Hi, Dusrissa. It was first in the restream chat. So it showed up as soon as we booted up the stream? Interesting. So maybe that doesn't work. Why did you look so good yet? What? What does that mean? Thing is, he is Gemma. There we go. We fixed it. We understand now. The character limit for YouTube stream titles? I don't know. I have to go look at it. As a skinny white man, I look like Gem. Correct. And hello, Dynasty Die. Gem, I hit top 500 for the first time yesterday. Thank you for your videos that got me way better. Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. Good job. I'm the old ratty. Making good progress through the ranks. I'm at A currently, was at A+, but rank decay. Hopefully I'll get X this season. Yeah, go get it. Go get it. You've got a good amount of time. Are you going to be making any content regarding the NA Championship? Probably. Haven't seen it yet, though. It tends to be a relatively quick content idea, which is good, because I need to come up with, like, 5 days worth of videos in the next 2 or 3 days. So I'm going to Riptide, and I'm not going to be at my computer during all that time. So, that's terrifying. Hello, Metaton EX. Please don't hurt me. Hello, Andre. I'm a software developer IRL. I recommend you exercise your PC. Okay, we'll do. I'll get a medium in here, or whatever. Hi, Jules. Hi, Vihart. Hi, Deegs. I feel like Splatoon is underrated. Doesn't get as many views as it should on videos. Huh. It's up to people and what they want to watch. I mean, there is definitely some pull in the algorithm for it, but it takes, you know, demand and takes the ability to draw advertising numbers. So, you know, not an easy job, but if you can make do on it, then that is good for the community. Jackpot versus Crush Soda was nuts. Yeah, I'll have to go see that. Here's my slip, Mr. Gem. You're good, Amberizing. I haven't even pressed A on the map mode update thing. How do you feel about Luna Blasters in the current state of the game? Not good. With maps that allow you to flank better, they could be better because it's easier for them to go unseen. As it is, you're kind of running into the same choke points over and over again and dying a lot. I have been a Luna Blaster hater, not in terms of I don't like the weapon, but in terms of I don't know how good it is in competitive play. I've been that way for a good long time. I think, like, bad fire rate, low paint, low range is not made up for by anything on that kit. Are you gonna make content on the squid bagging? Oh god. This arises like every time there's a tournament or something. I don't know if I would have anything new to say about it. Any new Sorella thoughts? I have not played the weapon yet. I was never a Brella player. It is not my forte. I will learn more by watching people who know what they're doing play it than I will by playing it myself. It's just too much of a learning curve for me to have to get through there. So I rely more on people who actually know what they're doing and seeing how well they're able to do with it compared to how they were doing before. Up until recently, you had Splatoon 2 as the game for the stream. Did that maybe affect the algorithm? Recently? I don't remember going in and fixing anything like that. How's the new bucket? Oh, the Dreadringer? It feels slow. That's the big problem with it. Like, range is nice, damage is nice, the fact that there's a bucket that paints is nice, but at the moment, the fire rate just feels a little bit too slow for it to be able to fight very effectively at a lot of different ranges. It definitely, you know, it can get splats. It's not like the weapon is too low damaging or anything. It's just very vulnerable in between when it's sloshing. Easy to rush down. And Reef Slider is also not what it needs at all. It needed... I almost want to say literally any other special in the game would have been better than Reef Slider for it. Having now seen how it's been working. I was thinking maybe like, oh, maybe you can get in and get the Reef Slider 70 damage to proc, and then you'll be able to hit someone with a slosh, and that'll finish them off. No, that is not how it's working. They're just dying before they get the slosh again. So, it's not looking too good for it right now. But, again, I haven't seen the NA Championship, so I only have so much information about what's going on at top level. Those are just my observations. I'm going to hop into the stream VC right now, after making sure volume is adjusted. One second. Okay. All right. Welcome, gamers.
Hello. Hello. Who's first?
So, I actually had... this is talking to Jamie. I actually had one person who I forgot about that wasn't on the list, the reviews, or who was on the list that I forgot to mention. So there is actually only one spot in the open lobby. We'll just need Devi today. So sorry about that, Jamie. You're free to go and do Jamie things, whatever those Jamie things may be. But so we've got Villager, Skin, and Zelor here, and there's also going to be Wuffkin, who is unavailable to play with us, but will have a VOD review later on. In the meantime, though, I'm going to get a open lobby put together, and at that point, I will send you guys the name of the pool, and also the password that I will be creating for it. So, pool.
Just curious, you've done this a lot. Has the lobby code ever been leaked and some rando comes in?
It has been leaked a couple times, and then we promptly changed it.
Yeah, I just wonder, because I imagine that happens occasionally.
But people have generally been good about it. Okay. So I am now sending y'all pool and then password. So Zelor has it. Getting it to Villager now. Alrighty. There we go.
I got it on the second try.
Alright, Devi's in.
I was like, wait, which one was it again? Got it wrong the first time, but I got it right the second time.
You might need to resend the invite.
Resend the invite? I have not sent it yet.
Oh, okay.
I am sending it now.
There we go.
TC.
I think I hit the right buttons.
DC.
Welcome, Ren Nintendo. We are getting an Anarchy open lobby together, and in order for us to not leak the password and let people in, we are putting cats in front of the screen.
Meow.
Are you liking that ballpoint alt kit, Dev?
It is the one ballpoint I've ever had a connection with.
I still, personally, I like the other ballpoint a little better, but
People who are
Just-
actual ballpoint mains will appreciate the V ballpoint a lot better than this, but because I'm a Hydra main, this kit sympathizes with my play style more than like a Nautilus or V ballpoint player. So they would prefer the other one because those kits kind of have a more aggressive kind of kit to it. They can continue to mate up point. That's why the V ballpoint is still pretty high up in tier list right now because of how much pressure it adds with inkjet and everything.
forgot to-
so,
forgot to change my gear. I have the wrong kit. Oops.
but
Well, that means
this,
we're automatically gonna lose.
this one suits
Eh,
me. So
it's just
I'm a
it's
big
just gonna
fan
be.
of it. I've also always been an ink mine main, so that helps. And I've been wanting to bring an ink vac to my team comp, but none of the weapons that had ink vac before this one I could
Custom
really
jet?
use.
Custom Jet saw use at PAX, or I saw it at the championship. Was used by, I believe it was.
Yeah, by a couple people, but
Let's see what we got here.
The jet sculpture is actually difficult for me to use.
Let's see what we got.
Someone's
Shooter
asking
class.
Gems how the cereal. This is soup.
Ninja on Squeezer.
Opening gambit on the hero shot.
Well, I got shot.
That one.
Good job.
Villager actually got the shot.
I'm down. Right side blaster. They're pushing right.
That one. Got another. I'm down.
ooh. There we go.
Okay, nice. That's
Okay,
two
it's
down.
just
I've got crab. I'm
Watch
gonna
out,
move
watch
up and
out.
try and use it on
it's
top
just
of
on
ramp.
side.
Okay, top left is shooter. Or
Squeezer
Heavy edit.
on me.
heavy edit and blaster on the
Got
top
squeezer.
left. I got edit. I traded.
That one.
No one's on tower. I'm going back.
Lag?
There, I thought the backline would be tower.
I died, and I said I did. I traded.
Sorry,
There we
I
go.
should have been on then.
Oh, one
That
on
one.
left. One on left.
I got
down.
Zuka ready.
That's wipe. I can't get up
Zuka
into
ready, I'm
their
gonna go-
bats.
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
go
gonna
to
crab
top.
from here.
Hey, jump to me. Yeah, you
I got one.
well, you-
One, two top right. I'll have back. For when they
Got
flip.
one.
One
Where's I
drop.
drop? Where's I drop?
Hit him twice. There we go.
One dropped on me,
Another
right?
drop.
Traded.
I got edit.
Just blast. Just blast.
Top
They're top
right.
right. They're top right.
Okay.
Got blast.
Nice. That should be game.
Got one.
Just in case.
Oh, did I get a quad?
Yeah, you did. Good job. That was not a good game for me. I peeked too far and just died to blaster. I did the same thing
we
Jem
still
did.
KO'd. We still KO'd.
I did the same thing Jem did.
Sometimes
I'm like, oh, yeah,
you peek the
I'm a little-
blaster
I'm like-
and then you are dead.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a little further back. I'm behind the wall. I can retreat. And they got stuck in a single pixel of ink and
Yeah, that's
died,
the funny
so-
part with blasters. Even if you peek, blaster can still explode behind the peak. That's why it's
Yeah.
like, I despise fighting blasters.
at least it wasn't a Neo.
I'm getting better with it, but I prefer fighting an E-leader over a blaster.
Zeller, say something real quick.
Is my volume low or something?
It's a little on the high side, and I'm going to fix that. You don't fix that yourself.
Okay.
Okay, try now.
Sorry, is this better?
Yes.
It's a lot better. You're good. It's honestly better to be more on the high side because then others could kind of adjust you down, and then in case if it goes down, it can just be there.
And then there's people who just don't have noise suppression at all. Whenever I play-
I'm gonna
if I
start
play with
making a
some-
counter for how many times we run into Becca on Squid School Tuesdays.
Really? They're always there. They're probably
Chip
in the
damage.
stream sniping, probably.
Nah,
Somehow.
this is Becca's usual stream time.
Plot twist: the clash is not her.
I know, that's the funny part.
Oh,
There's
One down.
a clash on the left.
Crab ready.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2 on the right and 1 still low left. It looks like the
I'm
wiper.
gonna make sure there's no crab flank.
Yep, wiper jump.
I got shot by Trace Stringer.
I'll have vacuum shortly.
We're down 1.
oh, I'm down.
We're down 2.
Careful, Gem.
Another one left.
Got one. Another one got me.
Bo got me. That's the chump bow.
Oh, I'm down.
Right side back plat.
Building
Wiper.
back.
I'm being pushed. I'm being pushed.
back.
Now I'm down.
Yeah, right underneath here. Be careful. Clash is going for me.
Tower's weak. I'm down. They bombed me.
I'm stuck in base to a clash.
Stamp is zipping.
I got shot out of spawn.
I'm dead to Stamper.
Anyone got
Alright, we gotta
special
go for tower.
sockets?
We gotta go for tower. There was no time.
I got locked in base by a blaster. I couldn't get out. Sorry.
You know,
Yeah, we just got staggered was all. Like, we went down and then just kept going in one at a time.
Yeah, I went there and died 4 times in a row.
I don't have anything to really deal with anything under a ledge. And I couldn't get vacuum in time. And I'm like, oh darn.
yeah. Honestly,
low,
I'm not.
actually.
Honestly, I'm not happy with these games.
With
Eh.
just how you're playing in them.
Yeah, because I know I'm not playing like I normally would. I don't know if this is because stress of being on stream and trying to do better. I'm doing a lot of dumb stuff I normally wouldn't.
I just have fun with it and
Yeah.
play your best.
No, we're
Yeah,
just
I
being
mean-
chill.
We're not on a competitive team together. This is not a tournament. This is Anarchy Open. It is the most meaningless of game modes. It's, well, I guess aside from Turf War, but there are people who are going to be mad at me for that. But
I was gonna say it's just like that. That's the whole basics. That's the...
it is low key. So do not
You know
put
what I
pressure
kinda
on
thought?
yourself to perform.
What if they made Turf War, but there's zones all over the map,
It'd just be like extreme splat zones.
basically? Yeah.
Maybe that
Okay,
could be a
I'm gonna
challenge.
I'm gonna go do a funny, because there's an E leader. I can't stay normal.
Okay, I'll try to get attention on right.
There's a blaster right above me, and a bomb.
though.
In the bomb.
We're one down.
Oh, blaster sees me.
Didn't know you were there.
one.
I'm down.
Well,
Jump out, Debbie.
I'm gonna.
That was bad. I should have backed up with you.
Jim's got the crab out.
I gotta jump out.
Yeah, they bubble.
I got leader.
Nice.
I'm
Bubble
down.
should be down. There we go.
Storm on me.
Oh, I'm dead.
Ah.
All right, I'm
flank
gonna
up.
stay back
again.
and pay for crab.
Yeah. We're staggered. We're down 2.
Oh,
Paint for
tried
special.
to bomb.
I'm trying to get
Okay,
Zook up.
can't let the blaster underneath.
We're together again.
Tower's weak. They fell.
Zuka's not ready.
Master is.
One down.
On tower still.
They're behind
Two
it.
behind
There's
it.
2 behind it.
I took out 2.
Go for
2v2.
tower. Go for tower.
Leader
Get
has
on. Get on.
special.
I can't.
Dang.
Yeah,
Well-
we're not gonna have time to get a special off if there are only 7 ticks left. We've just got to get on the tower.
The
Yeah.
villager was stuck in a dodge roll, like the 4th dodge roll of Tetris, couldn't move. I was too far back and being shot at, so I couldn't actually go.
Oh yeah, like I think we lost the game well before that point.
I know. I'm just saying at the
Yeah.
end when you were saying get on tower, we were literally stuck.
Mhm.
Yeah, I Zuka 2 of them, but I was hoping we could win the 4v2, but it wasn't. It was just too late.
Yeah. No, we took too long. That's okay.
I should have got special sooner, I think, maybe, but...
I don't think it was a matter of like going slow or anything. It was just we're going in one at a time. We're actually going in too fast, if anything. Like I had to jump out and we kept engaging despite the fact that I was out, so it was effectively a 3v4. Someone went in before getting enough information. There was a bomb below them, went down. So it's stuff like that. That's really what's going to slow us down. It feels like you're going faster, but actually the way to go faster is not to stagger.
Yeah. Let's try not dropping left, Devi. I feel like, unless you have, like, a bucket, I don't think that's going to work with ballpoint.
You'd be surprised.
I've seen it work. It depends on a lot of other factors, but...
With the blaster being there, that made it a bit tougher, but, I definitely had a
One
lot.
behind tower.
Yep.
Got one. Got the brush.
I have to use this
I
to
have
get...
no ink! I have no ink! I'm in trouble!
I can follow up.
Two. They're down two, they're
Kind of,
down
maybe,
two.
if I'm not bad.
You're trying to shoot
Got
me,
it.
though. You're top right.
Don't be in front of me on my jump in.
One in the ramp.
I'm re-sliding
Got it,
up
got
and I
it.
died.
I'll have to get on tower,
There
because
we
I
go,
don't know what
got
that
one.
is.
Ooh, I'm
I
very
can't
weak.
get on tower, because Stringer's still watching.
I got 3.
Nice, just
what-
brush.
Why
Brush
is...
is up here.
Deb, can you switch me so I'm not riding the
I
towers front
created the
line,
brush.
please?
I can't at the moment, I have ink set.
Yeah, let Devi ink chat. This is good.
Okay, I guess I'll just
Got
ride the
two.
tower casually.
Yeah, no, that's good, that's good.
Zuka popping?
Oh, rush,
Wait,
rush,
wait.
rush!
Brush, get back here.
Push
I can take
backside.
you. wanna go?
He's going away. He's
Behind.
going away.
Push behind. Got him.
Yeah,
Don't
they're
be in
weak.
front of me.
On tower,
Jen.
on
Be
tower.
behind, Be behind, be behind.
Got one of them, there's another. They're weak.
They're by me.
And good job.
There
Okay, there we go.
Nice.
Nice. So we stayed together that time.
So I was trying to figure out why why I got stuck on the tower as the front line there.
It's
Cirilla
not-
is more of a front.
It's not like
Yeah,
a
I don't
hard
have
and
back
fast
anymore.
roll.
Yeah, I know that, but
Like,
it's easier for me to...
it's whoever's
Clear
there at
ahead,
the
I guess.
time, and, like, you're less likely to be there at the time because you're the frontline weapon, but Devi can push up with the Brella, especially with the inkjet ready. Like, I can push up, or I can use the crab to protect it. Like, everyone on the comp is capable of pushing forward, and that's the main thing. That's the reason why you designate certain people as the tower riders. You have someone who is able to push forward in front of the tower, That's the main thing. And if you have a weapon that can't push forward effectively, that's who you really want riding the tower the most. But if everyone's capable of pushing forward, then it can be anyone who rides the tower. Just, again,
Yeah.
whoever it is that's closest to it.
It's just I also had Zuka too, so that I didn't know that at the time until I got the information that she was inkjetting. Because
Zuka's
oh,
pretty
I
good from
have
tower,
Zuka. I
too.
think I
You can use
clear
that from
ahead.
tower if you want.
It's pretty solid from tower.
Yeah, it gives you height to see over the top stuff.
I was a bit too far back. I was on second checkpoint. You were in
Ah.
spawn.
Yeah, one thing about staggering that's kind of... It's really hard to notice sometimes, especially very quickly.
Watch behind you, villager.
Who's working top right? I'm gonna
Oh, I
try to
got two.
pressure that with a bomb.
Top,
job.
Elier's weak. I'm taking tower.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to pressure leader with bombs. Can I get
I got
in without
three.
getting line of
Oh,
sight
wow.
on leader?
I
Oh,
lost
leader got me.
We're gonna get checkpoint and then probably not much more.
Okay,
got-
I'll grab and see if I can do
Ready?
something with it.
I got Zuka.
Got one.
I need some space. If I
Don't
can get
be in
in.
front of my jump. Do
That's
not
you.
be in front of me. There we go.
Okay, I'm in. Let me get on tower so I can
Oh,
Zuka.
I'm
Right
done.
here. Right here. They're hiding. They're
There's
hiding.
one on
They're
their
hiding.
snipe.
Okay, got him.
Right in front. Nice.
Nice. Alright. Someone
Oh,
else
I'm
take
dead.
tower? We're up ahead. We're
Got
ahead.
it.
I'm jumping in. I'll go get
Okay,
it.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
I got it. I'm
Okay.
there.
One top left.
Got one.
I'm down to Fizzy.
Oh, hi, Buster. Oh,
We're
I'm
down
dead.
2.
I don't have a good crab spot. I'm down.
Down three.
Bug behind. Bug
You're-
behind. Bug
You're
behind.
let's back up, Devi. Devi, back up.
Just you.
I got it.
Nice.
Got 2. Got 3.
Pushing up then.
Got a quad.
Nice, good job, good job.
Hey, Jerry, I got it.
I was trying to farm the special charge. I'm close to crab. One dropping behind us.
I'm down to blaster.
Oh, I'm down.
Ah,
Watch
I
out.
tried to pop crab.
They're weak behind you.
Oh, the bucket's behind me.
Yeah. Careful on that jump. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stay alive.
I'm here. Take jump. Take jump.
I'm gonna pinch left with villager.
Close to crab. Crabbing?
No.
Not crabbing yet.
Why are you left?
Oh, I'm down. Blaster.
Yep,
Okay.
they got me.
Blaster got me
Okay,
right.
I'm
That didn't work very well.
special on re-entry. Here, we need Zuka to stop push.
I'll have crab in a second. I'm
Watch out for
halfway.
hammer.
Oh, I'm down.
Bucket's gonna be under a snipe. Right here, though. Oh,
Mm,
hello.
Crabbing.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump down in front of you, Jen.
Got one off tower. One bottom right. On tower
Oh,
still? On
there's
tower?
a- yep.
Nice.
Yeah, there's one up top there.
They're zipping.
Got
They're
two.
down. Just E-leader now. The others are respawning. Oh, on sponge, on sponge, on
Yep.
sponge. Careful, careful.
Threw a bomb at him.
There's another there.
Oh, kind of useless.
On
slider,
left, on
but-
left.
Oh,
Careful.
left. They're weak. Oh. Still on left. There you go.
Got 2. I'm
Watch
down.
out.
I'm in
Just
trouble
here.
here.
He's dead.
I need to
Jump is
run.
dead.
Behind me,
They're
stay
gonna
behind
see
me,
your
stay
jump.
behind me. I'm a shield.
I didn't realize it was you, my bad.
Jumping to death.
Oh, they're trying to push tower.
Trying to bomb snipe out.
Okay, they got off.
2 on me left. They got me. They're going for tower.
Okay, hang on. Oh, I'm marked.
I'm being fighting on
Yeah,
right.
we're all here.
Spam, spam.
Oh, this is bad.
Oh.
I'm going out.
Well,
They're striking.
I didn't make it.
yeah, let's not stagger.
I'm half
They're still not on
dead.
tower. We're fine. We've got time.
Okay, I'm gonna try and pinch.
Got one.
Got
I'll
one.
draw their doing dev.
Got the E-leader.
Bucket on right.
Left.
Push him,
or,
push
yeah,
him.
that's
Oh,
right,
oh.
that's right. Down. Bucket got me though.
Where was the other one?
That spawn. On the ramp.
Oh, that
He's
works.
still there?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Oh, I missed the bomb.
One dropped right. Got him.
Help me? Never mind, I'll shield bop him instead.
Left side, left side.
Oh,
Got leader.
On tower. Oh, that's a blaster. I need ink.
Buster mid.
Got
I'm a
buckets.
tower. Pick up
Nice.
blaster.
Got another. That's
oh,
white.
damn.
I mean, we're safe. 20 seconds. Play defense, I guess.
Still play
Don't even-
aggressive on off, like
Yeah.
offense, defense.
Just keep him away from the tower.
Yep,
Yeah.
there's one on the
Yeah.
left there.
Bucket left plat. I'm
I
down.
got him.
Traded
I got him.
blaster by fighting them on crab tank once again.
They might try to drop right.
Got one.
Villagers
Hey
here.
kids,
That's just later.
don't pop crab tank at point blank against the Luna Blaster. Would not recommend.
There we
Oh,
go.
I missed the direct on the blaster.
This looks like a turf war game.
Which is a good thing. Means we're painting.
Mm-hmm.
Pika, I've had to practice inkjet on a lot of things, so Vanilla Ballpoint, Anarchy Nova, Cerebrella. So
I have yet to figure out how to use inkjet.
it's not easy if you're not used to it. It takes a bit.
I always it feels the shots feel so slow. I forget you
They
have
are.
to lead a little bit.
100% are that slow.
I kind of wish they could get a tiny projectile speed buff just so they're easier to hit, even if it means it has to sacrifice damage.
I think if you give it a projectile speed buff, it becomes broken, unfortunately.
Yeah, because the fact that you have to lead so much makes it so that it's as balanced as it is, even if it's like top.
It's the only way that it's dodgeable. If you don't do that, then someone who can aim well with it will be able to very reliably splat anybody that they've got target on.
Yeah, that's why it's like
Anyone,
if you
anyone
lower
who's
the
touched a character
damage,
for a month.
that's like yeah, if you lower the damage maybe so you can squid roll it, like make it a 2-shot instead of a 1-shot.
I'm pretty sure you can squid roll it on a direct. I don't think it's 220. I think it's like 150. I could be wrong.
LDE Roller Pro, Stealth Jump Pro. I'm sorry, yeah. They're trying to bomb us out. Right side.
Got one.
125? Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm gonna
In
go
mid,
right.
in mid, by Debbie. Going in. They're weak.
I'm not there.
Oh, you got him. Whew.
Here. You got it, villager? Okay. I got Zuka.
I'll get it.
Grabbing.
I get it.
Here, I'll trade.
Oh,
you
I got
this
sniped.
ability.
Okay.
I'm close to Inkjet though.
I actually don't know where to crab
What's
from
that
there.
plane?
Another
Inside?
beside us. There you go. Oh, nice.
There's another
I
drop.
have to Inkjet.
There's another drop. Right
There's
side, right
nobody
side.
with tower.
He's right there. He's right
Where
side,
am I
please.
jumping?
Someone be Debbie.
Oh, and bye bye. Oh,
Is he still here?
I'm gonna die. Ooh, no, I'm alive.
Oh, I died.
There's a
One
dual
by tower,
behind
right side.
me, Yep.
Got him a
And
couple
he
times.
was
They're running
looking at
away.
tower.
I'm gonna ignore them. Watch out for that jump. They jumped out.
Should I just ignore that whole fight, honestly?
Yeah, well, whatever is near the tower is more important.
Yeah. They're all at their flat.
I don't even know what killed me. Okay. I just didn't want him getting behind the team and wiping.
Got one.
I'm down.
Watch out for bombs.
Strike. Oh! Your jump's being camped. He's down. They're
Fine.
pushing the jump though. 2 down.
I must have Inkjet.
One fell
One's
right.
tapped.
Oh shoot! I fell off the tower. I don't know how that happened.
Side, he's coming from behind. I'm pressuring him from above though. Got him.
Nice.
I pressed this die button.
You pressed the die button. I got sniped. Actually, a bomb on the tower got me. Oops.
Look out,
They
Julius.
got me off tower. There's another one on the jump.
I'm putting shield out. Use me as bait.
Got one.
Got Zuka again.
Oh, I'm gonna die. Yep. I'm dead.
Ah, there's 3 around me. I did the wave
I'm
breaker.
down. We're down 3. Splash back up, please, to mid. Find a safe jump for us.
He's good in the corner.
Careful, careful. There's a charger watching. All right.
Oh, I died to a bomb. I didn't see that.
Oh, I got marked.
I'm jumping.
going out.
Rated.
No, I'm dead.
Ooh.
Left.
Oh, they're that way.
Yeah. Okay, defense time. Get your special on re-entry. We're
There's one on our
staggered
ramp
too, so
already?
wait for your team.
E-leader knows I'm behind him.
I'm trying to help. I'm trying to back you up, Jim. Got one.
I'm good.
Sorry, I was trying to get him off of you.
Oh, careful! Don't be too close to each other.
I have.
We get targeted with the same
E-leader
stuff that
went
way.
right through my shield. Okay.
Got one. One in the sponge. Got
Oh, yeah.
them.
Oh,
Leader
yeah.
on tower. Got them.
Hi, sir.
I'm marked.
Oh, I'm dead.
One came out left.
Yeah.
They ran away. They threw booyah at me.
I tried to use Booyah to push in. Sorry.
I have a dualies on me. Actually, I have a few on
Yeah,
me. I'm gonna have to retreat. Oh,
One
they
left.
went right through my
Keep
shield.
last. Because Booyah animation's so long, if you get an opening, is it
Got one.
possible to try to use that as a 3v4 moment?
If you can get it quick, it's risky if you stay still though. Tower's down. Watch out for booyah.
Oh, watch out. That got me. I had no pain.
It's on the backside.
I'm down
right?
there. The leader.
They were all
They're jumping into
together.
leader bottom left.
One.
Careful, we're 2 down. We're 2 down.
Got tower rider.
Okay.
I'm down. He's low. Leader low. Right
Side.
side.
The leader.
They're jumping into leader again. See if you
Yeah.
can get that.
I got the dually.
Got leader.
Nice. Got one. Okay, get the jump.
I don't know why I held the burst bomb. I should have
Okay,
just shot them.
tower.
down.
Nice.
3 down. There's one left. Where is he?
I don't see
Well,
them.
I don't think he jumped in.
9 seconds. Just play defense.
In mid. They're down. That's game.
Yay!
Where do you defend from as a front line on this map? Because I feel like anything with range, it's really hard to approach down the middle.
I think the answer is very carefully.
Because it feels like if you approach down the middle with something with range, you're just getting shot. And right side doesn't feel like it gives you very good angles to shoot.
It all
It
depends.
depends on where they're defending, I would say.
It's where they're looking, where your teammates are going.
Yeah.
Like, I considered trying to drop left and flank, but the problem is with that is the flank route on that is long, so if they're already on the ramp, I'm basically putting you in a 3v4.
Well,
You can also
what you
come
have to
into
do
the
there
side
is
and mid.
coordinate it with us. If you're gonna flank left, then you tell us exactly when you're going in, and then we attack at the same time. That's how that
Yeah.
play works.
Because I just feel like any coordinator would team be like, oh yeah, there's so one person behind us, let's just kill that one person while the other team is clear up on the ramp.
Well, that means at least
Depends on-
someone has to turn around, and if they turn around, they're vulnerable from the front, and that's what you exploit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
There's
means
times
you
where
have
I
to go
call
with it.
out, like,
Mhm.
like there's times where you call out like, hey, there's one over here. Like it's gonna flank. Don't worry about it yet. But then when you
Okay.
realize it hits like crosses a certain line, and you realize that they're going in, that's when one has to turn.
It's Becca again. The counter is now at 2. Can we get the Becca counter at 2?
Come back on the clash?
Yep.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's that
Oh.
villager. Got one. Got 2.
Ooh,
Nice.
Watch the
Oh
left
wow, I
there.
got one shot.
One on the top left there, Zeller. Be careful. Cooler on the left. Get your drink.
Make sure y'all have a way back
Yay,
out.
thank you. I'm done.
Oh,
Guys,
excellent.
you're
That's not what I
busy.
wanted to drop.
I fat-fingered Zuka.
Got
I actually-
one. Another one on me.
Mm.
Weak. How did I that? There we go. Got him. I'm down.
One was behind the tower.
Stringer
yeah,
both
the
behind
bow
mid.
is behind mid.
Oh, they're all behind mid.
We need to
They're free
paint up a
now.
little bit. They're seeing us coming too easily.
They got Zuka.
I'm not even half the cooler.
Cool. Blaster dropped in front of me. Sorry, bad call out.
How did they live
I'm
that?
gonna roll on the ramp. We're staggered, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Don't push, please.
There's one directly underneath of me, so careful. There they are. They got me.
Bottom.
Thank you.
Bucket did not cross,
Oh,
so
I'm
right
down.
top is
We're 3
safe.
down.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna die to blaster.
Traded.
Blaster's got me under ledge.
Don't go for it. Don't go for it.
Oh,
Watch out for clash under ledge.
Okay, I'm gonna go right.
Yeah,
I
one's
can't help you with the
underneath
blaster
left
yet.
ledge.
I'm gonna try to flank
Alright, hit him a couple
behind.
times.
I'm gonna drop right and
I'm
go
down.
behind.
I have cooler when we're back.
Blaster's still under right.
Someone knows I'm here.
They're on Zeller.
That was terrible flank.
Putting cooler up top
I
left.
didn't even have any backup. That was dumb. Sorry.
thank you.
Okay, let's see.
Got one.
Do we have
got,
Reef?
Got one.
Can we crab to stop the push?
Behind you, Jem. Behind you.
No,
I
we got
know.
it.
They're
They're
underneath
dead.
now.
No push is dead.
There's squid rolling.
In the corner. Nice.
Yeah, I got
Get
him.
it? Nice.
All right, paint up, paint up. We do outpaint them, so make sure we use that.
Paint the ledges. Clash is behind mid, right?
Push my side.
Careful,
Help.
Zeller.
Got him.
Nice. I painted up for you.
I got Zuka. I'm gonna push up. With
Cooler on the
Zuka.
right. Here.
Thank you.
Oh, Fizzy got me.
Now we have the zoomies.
I'm jumping the tower, Jem.
Okay.
There's
One
one
behind
behind
us.
you.
Two behind tower, 3 behind tower.
Jumping dead.
The
one.
middle, the middle, the middle. There was a
Careful, you two. You're on top of each other.
Yep.
Push Stringer left. Being pushed by Blaster though. Blaster left with Stringer. He's in the left side hole.
Behind you, villager.
Oh,
Blaster's
scare.
left corner, one of them. Bo's on the back right.
Crabbing it. Oh, they
Cooler-
hit me
cooler
anyway.
Left. Cooler left.
Right side, right side.
Man.
Up.
this is that's
Careful, we're two down.
Yep. Let me 1 second while I zoom.
Bundles in the corner. Okay, we're staggered. Can we get a regroup?
Oh, I got lots here.
I jumped into chump and
Flash
died.
down.
We're down 1.
Try out in front.
Jumping to gem.
That jump is scary.
Blaster underneath the ledge,
I'm in
right?
the blaster.
Yeah, I can't save it.
This is the best I can do. There's so much poke.
I'm shooting them. They're one away.
Blaster's gonna get me, yep.
Yeah.
All right. Computer still has not blue screened. This is good.
That's good.
We like this.
Yay!
You should make your stream starting a blue screen as a joke.
That would be mean. I don't think they ever actually saw the blue screen. I think it just went dark for them, so it wouldn't even look the same.
Heavy edit is interesting. Like, it's... In solo, it can have a lot of power if people forget that it's really fast. In team play, it's actually kind of balanced. Like, it can be very outclassed by the ranged specials, and it's actually quite annoying to go around them. But it can keep up pressure a lot with the front lines if you're going for, like, offense just as much as possible. It can keep up with that, but it definitely has a very big weak point.
So what you're saying is we give it crab.
I've said this since the start. Crab doesn't make sense on a splatling because it's half crab.
Makes sense, actually. Yeah. I mean, it would give it
I
the
got a
range.
communication error.
I'm still convinced that custom Hydra's gonna get missiles.
I got a
Lobby's back up,
communication error.
sending-
Can I get back?
Yes. The lobby's going back up.
Same password?
Yep.
I love Nintendo and their services.
It also makes me wonder if custom Hydrum's gonna be completely different because they put mine on the ballpoint. So what's gonna happen to mine on the Hydra when that kit comes out? It makes you go, hmm.
There's a rumor floating around that there's going to be a shooter with inkjet.
If there is,
Anarchy
I
is
will be
fire
playing
shot.
it.
That
I
would
don't
be
know.
Jem's new main. That's all he wants.
More no, Anarchy Nova.
Splat bomb crab. Okay, splat
doesn't
bomb
count.
would be fun, but it would also, you know, splat bomb plus like a whale or missile would be a pretty cool custom kit, IMO.
Double roller.
Leader's probably
Leader.
going to go left. I'm going to try...
I'm gonna play on our right, so
I
I'm
might
gonna
put
keep an eye
right.
out.
Watch out for missiles.
Paint defensively for the carbon and we win. They
Already
don't
on
have
the
anything to
left,
push
already
in with
pushing
except
left.
the Kraken.
I'm here. Don't let them know I'm here. I'm sharking a little
Flinks is
bit.
looking at me.
Oh wow, I was inside the tire. Tower.
Leader got me.
Nice.
96 is
And
trying to push our
52
ramp consistently.
Yeah, there's a nice
Got,
fix.
I'm dead. They're weak.
They're
I don't
cracking
know.
it.
Oh,
Two.
dear.
We're down 2.
Debbie, behind you,
I
Kraken.
got the, oh,
Debbie, left side.
well, I panic vacuum, but you know,
Ah,
I
my
can still
jumper
vacuum
can't.
this roller. No, I can't.
Down
They
2, don't
steamrolled
push,
me because I can't jump
or
over it.
regroup.
I'm down.
Regroup. Regroup,
I'm gonna stay back here for a minute. Oh, never mind. There's the 96 in our base.
Oh, he's under the ledge.
Yep, they're missing. I missed. That's a Kraken. Oh no.
Okay, let's try
Well, it's
this.
okay, because that means they can't shoot
Spawn.
anywhere.
They're pushing. They're over aggressive.
I'm in on right. They're
Oh,
gonna look
what?
at me here.
I got Zuka.
Careful, Zeller.
Got carbon. I'm down. One more on tower.
One bottom left.
They
Oh,
jumped.
He jumped
One
out. He jumped out.
All right, get paint in mid. Don't let the
Guard,
carbon get in
go.
unseen.
The 96 is still gonna probably push the left. So
Yeah, they've been doing that consistently, and it gives them good Kraken
Oh,
spots.
I'm down to 96. I'm right.
I got it.
Got Zuka. I can't see anything camera.
One weak
Watch
on back
later.
of mid. Got him.
They're 2 down. Push that leader out.
He's
Good.
Yeah,
He's
grabbing
trying
them.
to push left.
They're trying to
Probably
headshot
trying
me.
Careful. Missiles.
I'm down.
Got one.
Okay,
They're
Zuka
weak.
ready.
Oh, I died to a wave breaker. That was weird.
Careful, jump might not be safe. Okay, they don't see it.
Left side, E leader.
Left
Roller's
side
watching
flank.
right with leader. 96
I got
in mid.
one.
They're on me. They're weak. They
You
cracked.
cracking? Back up, back up. Oh, I was.
Why me? What did I do to you?
You were there.
You existed. For that you will pay.
Leader
That
in
one.
mid. Leader in mid. They jump. One's behind mid. Roller on the right.
They're zuking.
Yep, I got him.
I'm down.
They're 2 down. Push the leader in their ramp.
Okay, gonna paint a little bit too. I'll make sure your jump's safe. I got Zuka.
Leader backed up.
I missed on tower. 1 second, 1 second. Watch out, Gem.
Got missiled.
Oh,
Roller's coming over
okay.
right.
That the 96.
Got one. That jump might be
It's
unsafe.
just you.
I'm making unsafe jump too. Let's all do the unjump safe.
The unjump safe.
Yo, Gem,
Let's
I'm on
all-
your right.
Let's all play the
There's a
unsafe
gal
jump
here.
game.
Yes.
I got him.
Nice.
Leader on top.
Yeah.
Leader's pressured.
Got
Carbon
one.
top.
They're watching
That's-
me.
Oh, there's one
Leader's
on the tower
left.
wall. On the tower wall. Zeller, turn around and shoot at the tower wall.
We traded.
Okay, we don't have anyone on tower. It's just Gem.
Yeah, Jim's about
Jump
to die
out.
too.
I'm jumping in. Okay.
That might not be good.
I'm not dead. Okay, now I'm dead.
The I'm not dead to dead
I
pipeline.
got one. 2 on the left.
Carbon's left side behind the
They're
wall.
they're,
He's
they're all
pressuring me.
around mid. They're all around mid.
I am marked and I am
I traded.
afraid.
I traded 96.
Careful, careful. I'm not there with
I
you.
marked the roller.
I'm jumping to Dev.
I'm really close in that.
Hi there, mister. I traded.
Nice.
Okay.
Missiles on
We
me.
have a minute left. We have a crab out.
Leader weak. I am
There's
zooped.
a thing. Oh, there's a roller here.
I'm alive.
A roller.
Zuka. I took
Just
out leader.
Go,
96,
go,
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 go.
go, go.
I'm gonna
Where's the
fast
96?
jump. I'm gonna fast jump to mid.
I don't know.
Get. Oh yeah, get there, Gem. I'll
Oh, they're
jump to you.
behind tower. Behind the pillow on the right. On their ramp.
Oh, on ramp. Shoot.
Yeah, they
Ah.
were behind me, and then they went up to their
I'm down.
pillar.
Oh, that's. We have to get really lucky.
No, we just didn't paint their pillow. This is E-leader territory. Heads up.
We have 10 seconds to take tower.
Well, I'm shooting at it and trying not to die to a Kraken at the moment.
Dang.
I'm dead to a gal.
I was so close. I somehow dodged a Kraken, a missile, and 2 people shooting at me, and then I died. So
Well-
close, yet not even.
Well,
We'll do one more and then we'll get on to the VOD reviews.
okay.
I'm not happy with any of these games. But...
It's fine. We're going against people in Gem and Devi level, so...
No, I just don't feel like... Well, not only that, I just feel like I haven't been playing as well as I know I can. Like, I haven't had any game where, I felt like, yes, this is how I normally play, this is... No.
That's okay too, sometimes we just have off days.
Yeah, like I know, what is it? My aim, like I've been going kind of like back and forth on the Splatlings because like with ballpoint and edit, I'm not as familiar with their aim. They actually are different than the ones I'm the most familiar with. So I know my aim wasn't on point as they could be. So I'm, whenever I play open, I usually bring those out, figure them out, and then we'll finish off with the strong one.
And always remember that everybody in chat is solely watching you to criticize you on your gameplay. They're like,
Exactly.
they're only watching my perspective just so that they can see you out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, if you can call the fights you're picking, I should try to help out mostly.
Okay, villager, wait till I have a charge. Give me like 2 seconds.
okay.
Oh, you already
I'll
did.
come back.
Okay, go.
That was stupid.
One dropped into mid.
Okay,
Rush.
Okay, that's 2.
Down.
Nice, good job.
That's 3 down. Just
Oh, wait,
lead,
you
just
got
leader.
tower, you got tower.
Watch out for them to try and snipe tower. They got me. Yeah, take tower. Take tower.
I got it.
Oh, wow.
No, I might not got it.
I'm trying to push
Very
ahead a little
long.
bit because they got Zuka. I cleared space.
Nice shot.
Took out one.
Ah.
Watch out, counter Zuka.
Leader weak.
Directly
Got
on
him.
the bomb.
Rush is right in
Rush
front
is stuck
here.
in front of me. They're just
Ooh.
running away. I got him.
Okay,
That one.
Umbrella down. Just leader. They're coming top left.
Top left.
I'm jumping to you, Dev.
Yeah, I'm not getting sniped either, see.
Got brush.
One dropped right or left.
There's a bomb there.
Got one.
Rella directly in front.
I'm on tower.
There it is.
Nice. Yeah, I had bombs and stuff going, so I'm like, I'm gonna back up for a second, get the booyah, and then we can take it safely.
Yeah, once
Well,
I
there we
get
go.
once I get set up on left, I can Zuka to get you space up ramp.
Villagers, that was a funny opening. I'm just like, okay, just wait till I charge. Oh, I'm already there. You dodge roll out. Okay, now go back in. We just destroyed 3 of them. Bravo.
Yeah. No, that was
Those-
silly.
Those were my only 3 splats. That I-
Yeah, we didn't need very many.
Yeah. Anyways.
Alrighty.
1905.
Make sure to
Run.
hit nope so that I can. Okay, good. We did. Awesome.
I did, don't worry.
And now, do you guys have any timing constraints? Like, do you need to be done by a certain time, or do you need to
no.
go do something and
No.
come back? Okay.
Kind of, not really. It would be nice
What would be nice? Later, earlier?
to go first.
Okay. We'll get that done for you then. So... Here we go.
I've just been splatooning for the last, like, 6 hours.
Gotcha.
No, there was a while where, like, with one of my former teammates, we just did 1v1s for, like, in recon for a whole hour. It was
Getting
fun.
a projection so I can share this to Discord. And here you go.
And there you go, I see you now.
Mincemeat Metalworks Splat Zones. Oh boy. Tetris is a weapon here. Oh, and you're playing against Hitzel. what in the world is going on? Okay, so take it this is solo queue. Because otherwise, what in the world are you thinking? Going double bow in heavy edit. So yeah, geez, this does not seem like a
nothing wrong with the card.
particularly winnable situation. But we'll see what we can do here. So your job is to get triples every time you go in, and have Hitzel be the last one alive, and for your team to hopefully be able to 4v1 him. That's basically the way this has to work. I'm not kidding. That is pretty much exactly the way that this is going to have to work, or they're going to have to feed into your bows and heavy edit pretty badly. Otherwise, this probably doesn't go your way.
Spoiler alert, it doesn't.
Let me explain my thinking behind that. First of all, triple backline. That means that you're not going to have a lot of pushing resources at all. It's either you go in and succeed at frontline, or your team does not have a frontline. So that's one big problem. Now, they almost have that problem where if you splat one of them, then there's only one player who can frontline. And that's kind of nice, because, frontliners have this tendency to die. But the thing is, one of them is one of the best players in North America, so it's probably less likely to happen from him. And the other one has a splash wall, which is going to make it a lot easier for them to stay alive against something like the heavy edit, and even to an extent against the bows, although they can kind of shoot over it sometimes. So it's not the easiest thing, but you kind of want to get like a pick on one of them. And then if that happens, then you can rush in and you can take out like the heavy edit and the bow if you're able to get on top of them. Now, it's not easy on this map. This map is very backline favored. And so you only have so many ways in, and if Hitzel isn't the one who went down, Hitzel's going to be watching one of those two places. So you kind of got to go in and either splat the 52, get on top of the heavy edit and the bow before Hitzel can do anything, if Hitzel's like pinned down somewhere, or Hitzel goes down, which is a lot less likely, and we do the same thing to the backliners, and then you're able to push forward from there. They're going to have a crab tank, which you don't have, which is going to be really hard to, it's going to be hard for you to push in more so because they'll have that extra firepower. And you don't have a special to like counter that pretty much at all. You have super chumps, and you have tacticooler, and you have a reef slider. So unless you're going to land the reef slider directly on the crab, which it's not going to be able to happen because you have to go across the bridge to get to the crab because it's going to be on high ground. This is a mess. This is really, really hard. And I would not be surprised at all if this goes very poorly, just because this is a poorly designed map mode with bad comps, and you're up against one of the best players on Earth.
Good odds.
Okay, so we get one. We get the 52 there. All right, see, you can see that dropping down and like getting a triple isn't completely out of the question here. Like, that's why I say that's the win condition. Like, if that happens there, yeah, you've got the zone. It's just hard. And it all just comes down to, like, are you hitting your shots while you dodge roll and making them miss their shots? Funny how a top player existing defines an entire match. Like, at the level that Hitzel is at, because granted, like, you shouldn't, like, fear top players. You shouldn't go in and be like, oh no, we're going to lose because Hitzel's there. Like, you want to look at what Hitzel's doing and think, like, okay, Hitzel is given the option to do the dumb thing and to do the smart thing. Hitzel's probably going to do the smart thing. Like, you use that to predict, like, is this really going to be safe? Like, think, if this is a trick that I usually use to bait someone into dropping off a ledge and then, pouncing on them. Sure, this might work against a lot of players at my level. Is this going to work at a top level, against a top level player? Probably not. I probably have to play more honestly than that. And so you play around that, and you abuse your weapon's advantages. Because one thing that you can say about Hitzel is that he is locked into playing the Splash-O-Matic. The Splash-O-Matic is not a perfect weapon. It doesn't just press the ZR button and make everybody dead. You have to get into range with it. You have to use the paint to get the special. The special is sometimes vulnerable. Like, doesn't have a lethal bomb, which can sometimes be a problem for it. Like, there are things that you can work around because you know that said top player is locked into a certain weapon. Like, your top level fighting game player picks a character, and that character has weaknesses. You know, that character takes a certain amount of frames to do an action, and if you notice that and they've whiffed it, you're going to be able to punish them regardless of how good they are at the video game, because the video game gives them limitations. So there are ways around that, but you also have to recognize that if you go into a 1v1 against that player, you're not going to, you know, come out the better end of the coin flip most of the time because they're a top player. Until you're getting up to the point where you're maybe like a division or two away from that player, you just want to anticipate that if you try to, you know, skill diff them, it's not going to go the way that you're hoping it will. So you generally want to put yourself in an advantageous situation before you ever even try and engage on someone that you know is going to be that strong. All right, and here we come again. Now, we've done this twice, so what we should anticipate here is that now that we've done this multiple times, they're going to start predicting it. Even here, like, it worked less than it did the last time. One thing that I would also like to talk about is that I think we can do better if we're a little bit slower to rush in. Because when we move in here, we don't really have our sights set on anybody. Like, if you freeze right here, then yeah, you know that there's a whale going off on the left side of the map, and there was a tactical rover on the left recently. But you can't see anybody. You have no one to aim at right now. If you even just, like, sit right here for half a second and turn your camera to the left using the right stick, you probably spot someone, and then you can dodge roll off the ledge and have your aim on them already once you land and have someone out of the way immediately. And not only do you have them out of the way so they're not a threat to you anymore, but there's ink on the ground where they were, and so now you can use that to approach the others, and, like, there's a little bit of a chain reaction you can set up there. But what happens here is, first of all, the squid roll, I mean, I guess if somebody is already looking at you and aiming at you and ready to pre-fire or something, then this will help you armor through it. But I think you're better off if they just aren't looking at you. And they're going to be more likely to look at you if they see the flashy, spinny thing. What I would probably actually do here is drop right next to the cab of the truck in front of you so that I'm blocked from view by anyone who's over there in mid. Because, like, they launched a couple of specials over there on the left-hand side. That's where most of them are. So unless there's, like, one person right underneath me who's been sharking this whole time and not painting the zone or anything, you're actually probably pretty safe dropping there for the time being, and then you dodge roll out from around the corner once you've got a target in mind. But here, we've just fired a bunch of shots, and at this point, we have lost the fight. We haven't splatted anybody in these first few shots. There is a heavy edit with open line of sight on us that's looking at us, and there are two players in mid, both of whom now know exactly where we are. So unless the rest of our team pushes in really hard right now, which team comp, not going to happen, we've probably guaranteed that the best we get out of this at this point is a 1-for-1 trade. That's the margin for error. And if that sounds brutal, yeah, it is. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. Like, if you get that chain reaction and get 3 of them down right then and there, then you have a chance at potentially winning the game. And if not, I don't really know what else you can do here. Your team did actually follow up and cap the zone for that, which is nuts, because that was not a very long distraction that they had to work with. But, like, that's your job. So let's see how we do in the rest of it. It seemed like they were kind of sniffing around, and they had a sense that you were here already. Let me see where they would have noticed that. Okay, yeah, it's the fact that you squid rolled off the ledge and then double dodge rolled to get down here. I think the squid roll off the ledge, it makes, like, I can see the rationale behind it when you were on the right before. Here, I don't think anyone's in range to hit you while you're doing that. And the only reason you would want to do it is if you're trying to armor shots specifically. If you're trying to do anything else, there is a faster way off of that ledge that's also less visible.
Yeah, that's something I watched your video just a couple days ago about movement again, just as a refresher, and that's something I realized I do a lot. And so at this point, I've kind of already tried to minimize that. It's still a habit from muscle memory, but I'm working on it.
Gotcha. Somebody in chat was asking who is Hitzel. Hitzel is a top-level player who's been around since Splatoon 1. Was one of the first kind of content creators, did a stream called Coffee with Hitzel for a while. And Hitzel is in charge of running the Ink Academy Speed Ladder. He's stepped back a bit from how active he was in the community back then, but he's still very much a competitive player, will still show up in pickups at top level all the time, and has pretty consistent results when he's been doing so. So, one thing about the fact that we dodge rolled into mid also is that because we committed to that early on there, we had to roll the rest of the way to get out of safety instead of swimming, and that left us stuck down there in the corner. Like, these rolls right here are committing you in your movement. With the dualies, like, you want to figure out, like, when you really want to dodge roll and when you can get away with not doing it. Because being committed, being rolled in and stuck in turret mode is a very vulnerable position if you don't get what you want out of it. So here, we're just here to paint the zone. We don't really need the dodge rolls to do that for us. And since we're dodge rolling, we're also, potentially putting ourselves on enemy ink, which is what happens here, where we can't move if we decide to start swimming. So, like, it kind of takes us out of shooter mindset, puts us in dualies mindset, which means, like, oh, I don't have to worry about enemy ink, and then we stop and want to swim, and we can't. So, I would just kind of drop off normally, just swim off. Don't fire these shots on zone in turret mode, because then as soon as we get hit, we have to, like, really slowly get out of here, and we have to use more dodge rolls to get out. But now the enemy players know that we're damaged and that we're over here in this corner, that we can't have gone far because we dodge rolled and we're going to get frozen at some point. And so at this point, you just kind of lose the fight, I think. Oh, they actually don't chase you for it too much, but they know you're here still. You can see that the heavy edit on the other team is looking down here like, I know there was someone under here, and they're flushing you out. So it may be kind of a coincidence that there's a player on zone who's shooting at the same time, but, like, what else do they have to shoot at, right? It's the zone. That's where they have to paint. If they're going to paint anything, they're going to paint that. And the heavy forces you out into that range, and so there's not much you can do. So basically, as soon as you dodge rolled, instead of swimming in, you ended up stuck, committed to that dodge roll. And when you got damaged and you were trying to get out of there, it kind of boxed you into a corner. And from that corner, there wasn't really a great way out. So that was why that didn't go as well. Okay. So it looks like we definitely favor the right-hand side. And we went the left. I like that. I like that. Stealthily coming up over the ledge so you don't peek over and give someone else information they don't need. It seems like you favor coming over the right-hand side and you went to the left to mix it up to make them look that way occasionally. But that this is the way you prefer. So that makes sense. We drop in here. So I see what you saw. You did not have your aim on. And you need to have your aim on before you reveal yourself. And that was the thing that went wrong in that first fight, too. When they're coming from left to right, I think what's happening here is you see the little... For those who didn't see it, in the bottom right, just to the left of the play button, L to play, in front of the truck, there is a streak of ink, a little ripple. That is a player who has Ninja Squid that is swimming in front of the truck right now. And we can see that right now, and they're trying to roll out and splat that. The problem is, think about where they are based on where that trail is, and look at where we're aiming. We're aiming like above them and past them, and they're further to the right than we think they are. Like, we're very confused about their positioning right now. And we're kind of just like shooting everywhere and guessing, because we know that we're hard committed at this point of the fight because we've dodge rolled in, but we haven't found them, and so now it's kind of over. So when you see that, what you want to do is, first of all, don't just figure out their position in space. Have you taken high school physics?
Yes.
So what I want you to look for when you're trying to line up shots is not their position, but their velocity. So the position is just where they are right now at this exact point in time. Well, you know, irrespective at this exact point in time, where are they right now? Oops, I knocked something over. My bad. Scared the cat too.
Oh.
Sorry, kitty. So at this point right now, we can pretty clearly see in the trail to the right where this player is. And what's happening is you are saying, okay, that is the point on the map where they are, and I am now going to shoot them. And they're continuing past that point on the map, and as we drop in, that's the point on the map that we're still aiming at. So we're not accounting for...
I think that's a habit from leader, because I've been a leader player for like a long time, and I've only been playing Tetris in the last month or two.
Gotcha. That would do it.
So,
You're more about like aiming at that one point at that one time and just getting those to line up. The things that you have to consider.
I'll shoot at someone and I'll have my reticle on them, but they'll be moving and my shots won't be hitting them. So in my head, I'm hitting them, but I'm not actually.
Even a charger.
It's just a habit I need to break.
Even a charger does have some projectile speed, does have some travel time.
That's over a long distance,
even then, like, you will have to lead your shots a little bit. But here, for example, like, you're looking to the left and you're looking kind of forward, and they're moving behind you. So what we need to account for is not only the travel time of your shots, but also how you're moving and how well you can see them, to make sure that you can continue to see them as you aim the rest of your shots, and the fact that your weapon doesn't one-shot them. So what you probably wanted to do here was, one way you can make it a little easier for yourself is if you know their velocity, that is, you know what direction they're traveling in and how fast, if you know that vector, then you can align yourself so that instead of having to change your aim as it moves, you're in line with where they're going. You're parallel to it. They can keep moving away from you, but your aim is still on them. So what you could do here is turn 180 degrees, roll out to the left, and now as they continue moving to the right, it doesn't matter how far away from you they are, or it doesn't matter how much they move, because all they're doing is moving further away and they're staying on your reticle. So that's one way to handle it. That's not always possible, but whenever you can get that advantage, it's good to set yourself up for it, because then it's a lot easier to hit the shots. It's like aiming a free throw at the backboard. Like, even if you throw it a little bit too hard and you miss the hoop itself, it still has the opportunity to hit the backboard and come back in. It's a little bit of an advantage there. So obviously, sometimes, in a game of basketball, you're going to have to hit a three-pointer from the far right or the far left outside the arc, and then you just have to swish it. But you put yourself in those situations only when that's the only available option, because that's the hardest shot to hit. If you have an easier shot, you always, give yourself the opportunity to hit those ones instead, because those are the easiest ones, those are the highest percentage ones. So while, yes, like, sometimes you will just need to develop the skill to hit those, on the other hand, when you don't have to hit those, it's also a skill to set yourself up as easily as possible. And last thing is vision. Like, if you need a second to, like, make sure that you have your aim on and keep track of them and know where they're heading next, then just take a little bit longer. Like, this player doesn't know you're here. They would be shooting at you if they knew you were here. So you still haven't lost your stealth. go in when you're nice and ready. Don't go in immediately as soon as you see the player, because then you end up giving yourself away and completely losing track of them. At this point, I don't know where they are, because we missed the first shots, we weren't hitting them, we didn't force them to stand up or paint their feet, and so at that point, it's kind of lost. So camera control is part of it, patience is part of it, lining up your shots ahead of time is part of it, knowing how to lead them is part of it. This is a little bit dangerous. We've given ourselves our position away pretty early here, and nobody was in range when we did. And so now they're going to know how to counterplay us because we're committed in our movement, and they know which side they have to look to see us coming from. It's like we fired all these shots at this player, and if you look at like all three of those rolls, at no point in time did we ever actually have an angle to hit them. There was always cover in the way. So all of those shots are warning shots. They're shots that are telling this player that we're coming, and letting them, have extra time to get away from us. And at this point, because of the way the corner worked, we didn't really have a good view of them. We still can't really get in at them. So we've fired a lot of shots, we've made ourselves very visible, and we still don't have a lot to show for it. At some point here, I would definitely just try and submerge in the ink, get to a different location, like change your position so that they don't know how to deal with you. They just kind of ran away from you there. And you're rolling around, you're very visible, you're taking some extra damage from the sprinkler instead of just getting rid of the sprinkler. You can see the 52 here, if not for the reef slider, 52 knew exactly where you were and was aiming at you, so the reef slider is the only reason that their aim is off right here. And they dodge away, and again, they don't go down because they're looking at you, so they're getting away from this. Like, there's a lot more information that you're giving them about your positions than they're giving you about their positions. So you're diving in, not finding anybody, and they're finding you first. This is just a skill check on the heavy edit. If the heavy edit is able to hit their shots about half as well as you are, then you lose this fight 100%. The challenge, like, if you can make them miss with the dodge rolls, then maybe sometimes you get it, but their fire rate is obscene. Like, at full charge, they have a shot out every 3 frames. They have a new chance to hit you every 1/20th of a second. And your fire rate is just not that good. I think yours is at least double theirs. Probably more than doubles theirs, actually, because I think the splatter shots is like every 5 or 6 frames, and the tetras are slower than that. So you both 4 shots, but their fire rate is like twice as quick. And so here, like, rushing them down across an open sight line with no cover, they should just win that every time. So this one I like a little bit better because we hit shots at the start. Now, once you start hitting shots on someone who is standing up, you have to anticipate they're going to move somewhere. And you may not have a great judge on where that's going to go, but if you're ready for it, if you're ready, like, okay, I hit them, now they're going to move, where are they moving? And you adjust, if they start moving left, then I'm going to start looking at this angle. If they start move right, I'm going to start moving at this angle. If you get yourself ready for that movement, then you can use your next roll to reposition yourself to be in the right place to hit them. At this point, they've just gotten away. So that comes down to a little bit of tracking. Great tracking there. So you're able to get that pick. Another thing to consider here is that they have Tacticooler. And trading with a Tacticooler weapon is not going to be worth it to you. So at this point, with the zone being capped, with you being down a player, you being alone out here on the right because none of your teammates have the ability to follow you because they're backline weapons, I would probably just kind of paint up on the right-hand side, give yourself some ink to work with, and that way they can't move forward super safely because they always have to be worrying about what's going on their back left. It slows them down quite a bit, If need be, maybe you get enough paint to like reef slider out somewhere. But it makes it so that they have to look backwards instead of looking forward, and they can't take as much space. If you go in and go down quickly, though, then they can just be like, okay, we've dealt with that now, and now we can move forward. So you're better off to your team alive there than you are dead. Which, it sounds like a silly thing to say, like, but this is Tetras we're talking about. You have to remember, audience. Tetras, sometimes they do benefit the team from just feeding. And you'll notice that the heavy edit was looking at you. Now, they missed enough shots once you double rolled that you were able to get their teammate, who was just kind of there looking for it. But yeah, heavy edit is starting to see this coming. They've been attacked 3 times, I think, this way before. So once everything resets, you are something that they're going to be looking for at that point. All right, they're 1 down. So this is actually a time that I would actually just paint the zone. Your team outpaints theirs at the moment if you just put your paint all on the zone. Especially since Hitzel is their #1 painting weapon. There you go, good job. And now we use this to try and accelerate, but yeah. What we wanted to do with this was put the reef slider in a position where when it was done, we were right next to a wall or something. We were right next to some cover. Because if we're out in the open, then they just back up and shred us. But if, for example, they back up around the corner, but then we reef slider right up to those black boxes there and drop into squid form, they don't have anything that they can shoot at unless they expose themselves way more, and your teammates can take them out that way. You can see, like, your teammates are firing shots at them here even now, and they might still get them. No, not quite. But they were able to handle those opponents if they were firing at you while you were behind the black boxes. You would have just forced them to back up into the left corner. But because we were out in the open, they were able to get us safely from behind cover, and if they hadn't stayed out there, then they would have just been able to back up and not go down to our teammates. Alright. Not a bad trade, because again, strong painting weapon versus you not being a good painting weapon, and you're here equipped to go in and trade them and stuff. So not bad that you found it. I would say there you probably want to be backing up more with your dodge rolls, because you outranged the splash by quite a bit. And so if you're able to just kite them, then they wouldn't be able to hit the shots on you at all. That's usually what you want to hope for against any of those shorter ranged weapons. Once you start getting into weapons that are shorter range than you, they're going to splat faster than you. And so you don't want to get up close and take the fight that way. You want to be backing away from them and forcing them to chase you. But good job dodge rolling backwards at least enough to get off the zone when you went down. Got a little mixed up there. I think here also we're going in a little bit quick without really knowing what exactly we're aiming at, and that's how we end up in this awkward situation.
Yeah, that just looks like panic from not being able to swim because the feet are painted.
Yeah. That shot's not going to kill you, so I would just put dot of paint on the ground like a shooter and swim out, and then maybe do the same thing a little further away. It's not as fast as like a shooter would do it, but it's still enough. And that way, again, you don't have to commit to the dodge roll. Because here, now we're dodge rolling and we're like, oh shoot, we're right on top of something. Once you're in that situation, I don't blame you for not hitting those shots. Like, I don't know what side of what side of him you're on when you land there. That's a toss-up. But the goal is not to end up in that situation in the first place. Look before you leap kind of thing. I like how they had leaping in their splash tag. They have definitely been leaping at some of these fights. Okay, a lot of the shots that you fired as you were dropping down here were visible and don't really paint enough for you to be worth shooting and giving away your position. Now from here, you very quickly lock onto someone and splat them as they're coming at you, and so that works, but giving your position away didn't help your case. Here you're stuck, you die to the bow because you've dodge rolled all of your times, but you're not behind cover, they can just hit you. The fact that they missed is on them, I would say. Another thing there, even though the bow can't hit you, that doesn't mean that their teammates can't see what you're doing when they're firing so many shots at that area, when they, you're damaged and you had to move, you had to dodge roll before. Better to re-engage after you've regained a little bit of stealth. After they're like, well, I know they're around here somewhere, but I haven't seen them recently. Okay. That dodge roll I agree with. You needed to get out of there pretty quick. Just shredding the crab is a little bit risky if they aim at you, but they end up shooting at someone else, so it only ends up being a one-for-one trade. I don't think... I might be wrong here, because I know that the fire rate increases when you dodge roll, but I think because of the extra aim RNG, or I guess you could... Because of the fact that the shots go left, right, I think it's still better to paint with dual reticle mode on dualies. I think that's the way that it is. I might be wrong, again. I know if you're painting in a circle for special, it's better to have the extra fire rate. But when you're just painting in a straight line on the zone, I don't think that's actually better. And it's definitely not better in that it's less safe, because you're committed to the rolls while you're trying to paint. Autobomb. Okay, so right now, you've got a target. The 52 just popped whale on the bottom right. You saw that as you were coming in. And if you dodge roll off the front of the truck right now and get in front of them, you have shots on them and they're cornered. We're relying too much on rolling for movement. It's just not safe because you're getting stuck in the movement at the end, and they have a lot of range that's just kind of watching you, waiting for an opportunity to shoot. You're also not playing around cover that much when you make those kinds of plays. It's too out in the open. And again, this is partly the map. The map sucks. This is one of the worst maps that has ever been in a Splatoon game, competitively speaking. There's just, no good way in. It's so hard to frontline on, which makes it a huge stall fest. It sucks. And that's not something that your weapon is well-equipped to deal with. So, I don't blame you for any of that. You're at least better equipped than a lot of other frontliners in that you can traverse enemy ink with your dodge rolls, but you don't want to be using the dodge rolls when you don't have to. Nice. Okay. One. So we get the one, and then from there, I think the idea was to reset our rolls and heal. I think we kept rolling and didn't have a target afterward, and that was when we lost. So Bo knows that we're here already, and that's something to remember. Backliners don't forget these things. Just because they stop shooting at you for a moment doesn't mean that they don't still know you're there. And these shots across the zone are going to give it away. So you get that pick, but now look at that the bow is already looking at you. Your top priority now is, I am very damaged. If the bow hits me once, I'm dead. I need to get it into my color ink, get underneath a ledge or something and heal, because otherwise I'm going to go down to it. So the way out was probably forward there. And unfortunately, there was already the heavy edit in the way. You might have been able to get them as you rolled up. Hard to say. But that was the only way out, because the bow definitely would have finished it off if the heavy edit didn't. Again, these shots, all visible to the enemy team. I think at least 3 members of the enemy team now know where you are, and you still haven't got your aim on a target. I don't think you even noticed the player who was behind you there. Alright. That is a very unusual game. That's something that's not typical of a match that you're likely to encounter. There were a lot of weird factors that made it especially difficult. But the main takeaways that we can take out of that one are that when you engage, it needs to be a lot more deliberate. It can't just be that you are holding forward and hoping you can figure it out after you've already engaged. Because that means you have to outplay your opponent every time to get anything done. You need to be better than them because they know where you are before you know where they are. their reactions are better informed than yours are. So you're making every fight more difficult for yourself because you're not taking a second, figuring out, okay, where's that guy going? And where are they going to be by the time my shots are actually coming out? Where are they going to be once my last shot is coming out? What angle do I want to be at so that I can make my shots easier to hit? Like, none of that is happening between the time when you're on the ledge and when you're dropping off and firing the shots. And so a lot of the time you're just losing your target and going down. You've got to be deliberate about when you go for these picks because at a top level, if you've missed 2 shots, you've lost the fight. If you miss 1 shot, that's typically, you know, accounted for by their reaction time, and now it's an even fight. If you miss a second shot, it's lost. They will have the aim to react and hit you out of that. So knowing that that is the direction that we're heading in, you know, we may never get to that high of a level of aim, but that's the direction we're heading. Knowing that that's the final form of that situation, the way you get an advantage is by hitting your first shot and putting yourself in a position where it's easiest to hit the next shots. For that, you need information, and you need to take a little bit of time to figure out, you know, okay, where's my aim got to be and set it up. You don't want to be snapping to things. You want to already have your reticle where it needs to be. You don't want to give your position away early. You want your very first shot to not be a warning shot, but to be a shot that hits. And that's the part that I think you'll want to work on the most with engaging here. It's not bad to engage a lot, but you've got to engage in a way that you're actually going to be successful, because otherwise then you are just feeding. Also, bear in mind that there are times where you don't have to engage with this weapon. That one moment in the game where I was like, just stay here on the right and make it so they have to look back at you, that's something the Tetris do very well. Like, you can be a skirmisher instead of a slayer. You can draw them away from what your team is doing, which is really what you're trying to do by just diving in on them and threatening to slay. You play a lot like a brush does in that respect. The brush doesn't have a fast kill time either, but because it can get into flanking positions so easily, it tends to surprise people, and it's the element of surprise that makes it so that its slower kill time doesn't matter as much. Same deal with the Tetris. They don't have a great kill time compared to a lot of other weapons in the game, especially the short-range ones. But because it's able to put itself in difficult positions, because it's able to make itself hard to hit, because it can just kind of kite back with its dodge rolls and use its range if it needs to, it can make up for that difference in kill time by just playing the unique advantages of the weapon. So those are the main things that I would say for you to work on. Do you have any questions about any of that or anything else you'd like advice about?
Not really, no.
All right. So thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next VOD reviewee. We've got, so that was Villager Skin, and now we're moving on to Zelor, I believe? Or did I have it backwards?
I'm still
Yes.
here. Oops, I muted.
All right.
No, I'm not. Okay, sorry. Sorry. I thought I was muted.
Do you have...
I do.
Yeah, I don't have a link or a replay code from you, so I'll need that real quick.
Sorry. Let me send that real quick.
All good.
Where did I notepad it? 1 second. I should have named the code like something less consecutive of a file name.
All good. Are you doing viewer VOD reviews? If so, can you review my games? DM me on Discord. That's the way we set this up. These guys signed up well in advance. There is like a line for it. But here is the Discord server if you would like to check it out. We set these up in advance, and we do like 2 or maybe sometimes 3 per stream. Mr. Rocketman says you can recover the code on Nintendo Switch Online. I don't know if that's helpful to your situation, but they do say it.
All right, here it is.
Okay, good, we found it.
So this is me trying to figure out how you play a weapon that you normally don't play. This is a weapon I'm seeing played a lot at high level, but I just can't seem to get to work, so I was looking for advice on how to play it better.
Sounds
I'm
good.
typing it in right now because I found the file name. There we go. I sent it. See if that works.
Oop. There we go.
Hopefully this is the right replay, and I didn't, because I had a couple notepad ones I wanted to look at later.
All right. V Slosher. Okay.
I cannot figure this out for the life of me.
It's not an easy weapon, because the
There's-
fire.
there's-
Yes.
Sorry. So
Um,
the main thing I've been trying to figure out is why play V-Slosh when you can play T-Tech? Because I feel like when I'm trying to engage fights, unless I'm only playing around cover, which always isn't the case, like Hammerhead is terrible for having any sort of cover at all. Unless you have cover and you can hit them without them giving them line of sight, I feel like compared to most short-range shooters, I lose those matchups because they just kill you faster.
Well, that if is doing a lot of work there, because that is exactly what you're trying to do with this. The big advantage that this weapon has is more range and the ability to hit up over ledges.
Yeah.
And
Because-
you're
because
correct
I
that the fire rate is worse, and the paint is not great. What you're doing with it, though, is you're attacking positions that can't fight back, and that's something that the T-Tech definitely cannot do for you, and that's why it's run.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, why not just run T-Tech? Because it has the same kit, but it has more DPS, and that was actually meant to hit behind the ledge. But I loved that throw, honestly.
So from here, I'm thinking you're playing a lot like a backline or long range midline weapon. The Slosher is a little bit more aggressive than that. From here, you're going to be threatened by a bow or a charger, whereas you can't hit them back. So this isn't a great position for you.
Right.
You want to be a little bit closer.
The only reason I went there is so that I could bomb before I go to the right side, and that's what I end up doing. Because I don't want to approach that ledge and then have a short-range shooter, because you can see there's a little bit of paint there. I don't see any on the far right. So I know they're not dropping off the ledge. I wanted to make sure that nothing was back there, so when I do drop, that I don't get something just doesn't walk around the corner and instantly kill me.
So from the map, we can tell that there's nobody there because there's just no paint that's gone down anywhere around that spot. They can't have gotten out there very quickly. I think it's safe from here, just you doing a few map checks on the way back out, that you can see that there's no one there, and then get in position behind the stack. And being behind the stack is a good position for you because as soon as you do notice that someone's there, you can hit them while they can't hit you. You can hit them up over the top of it.
And after I throw that bomb, I do rotate to the right side.
Problem is, throwing the bomb gives away that you're there. And if you get down there before you do that, it's a lot more likely that someone blunders into your range. I would not throw that bomb unless I knew that there was someone already pushing around the side of the stack that I'm going to be able to meet up with. Because otherwise, now they know I'm here, and if they're... The disadvantage of the position behind the stack is if a frontline weapon, which they don't really have much of, but if a frontline weapon gets up on top of it and then drops over the top on you and lands on you, now they've closed the distance with you without you using your range or your hitbox.
That's kind of why I bombed. I didn't want them to go over there.
But that bomb isn't necessarily stopping them from doing it. And the bomb is also letting them know that you're here. So... again, I would do that if I wanted to disrupt someone who's on that side who I know is already being pushed by somebody else on my team. But when there's no paint down there, when we're trying to sneak in there and be able to use the ledge against them, we're probably better off not throwing it and saving the ink. Also from here, moving around to the right side now is a bit unsafe, especially again if we're going to throw the bomb. Bomb is going to continue to give our position away and make it so that they can take these kinds of advantageous positions against us. Because now there's someone on top of the stack, and that thing that I was worried about is liable to happen, that they might drop down on top of you.
Right.
And we don't want to take our eyes off it either, because we know they were there, and we're looking over at some other fight now, so they have all the opportunity they need to drop in behind us and spot us.
And
I don't know
in
what
that
happened
case...
Okay, well, there's a lot going on here that's dangerous that we're not reacting to. So let's back up for a second and like talk about what information we have. So we know that the charger's over there, and we throw a bomb. I guess we're trying to throw the bomb at Plat. We don't have the range to hit the charger with this bomb, so I'm not sure what it is.
I was trying to hit the charger.
Okay.
I was trying to hit the charger.
We're just too far away to hit that with any bomb. I don't even think sub saver or sub power up is going to get you that bomb. But now there's arrow spray that's up there on top of the stacks, right? We see them get.
I don't know. They didn't notice me, honestly, but
yeah. I mean, you didn't notice them, it seems, either, because I feel like that's something you'd probably be looking at. Because they're right above you. They could be in range of you. If they get on top of you, they have an advantage in terms of kill time, because they're. Aerospray doesn't have a good advantage against most weapons in the game, but if it gets close to you, it does have a very fast one. If it's any further away, then the shots spread out like crazy, and now it has to hit like 3 more of them. So, yeah, not a great weapon. But in that
assuming
one instance,
the RNG works with it. But
in that one instance, it can actually splat pretty quickly. And I think what happens is it jumps over the top of you to your wall, and that's where it is right now. So that immediately is giving me alarm bells, like, oh crap, there's someone behind me, I've let someone into my zone, I don't know what's going on, the formation's going to break down here. So that's the first thing, that, like, it looks like your teammates on Plat are backing off away from it right now, which is good on them. What it also means, though, is that you, if you stay here, are going to be less defended, because your teammates are going to be further back and not putting as much pressure out on the enemy team. This was a very visible move right here to come up on the stack the way you are. From here, yeah, you've got some high ground, but there is a charger in play, there's a bow in play. Those are 2 weapons you really need cover against. And so hiding underneath the cover on the low ground a little bit more is probably the better option here to make sure that they don't get a line of sight. At this point, the charger should be able to splat you with this shot. They miss. There's someone pushing ramp on the left, so what we don't want to happen is for them to be able to push our team on Plat and then come up from behind us and flank us around this cover here. So we don't want to be moving further forward into mid. We don't want to be moving up on the objective line while there's an enemy player behind us. We want to deal with that player first and then move ahead. We also know that there's someone else now who is behind right stacks. We saw those on the right side of our screen. So there are people on like 3 different sides of us, and we're continuing to move forward into enemy ink, firing a lot of shots, being pretty visible. We probably don't make it out of this. Oh, we do. Where did that player come from? What? Why is the bow over there? That's confusing.
can I ask something?
Mm-hmm.
When I was watching and this is gonna be a bit telling. I noticed when I was watching the Jackpot Soda Crush game, they had a V-Slosh. And they did, in fact, use the bomb quite a bit in terms of trying to displace. But it seems like what you're saying, it seems like you're saying that's less of a thing because you don't want to give away your positioning as a slosh, so...
It's not so much that you don't want to use it. It's that if you're going to take an aggressive position, you don't want to give yourself away before you have some value to get out of it. Now, the bomb is going to be good for displacing backline weapons, but we're not putting ourselves in positions where we can effectively displace them while also staying safe from them. If you were taking a position around like left stack and you were lobbing a bomb up over the top of the stack to land it on the wall or something, the charger couldn't do anything about that, but you would still be displacing them. So that would work. the positions we're taking, though, are positions where we're only going to be effective if we're using our main weapon. Because the backliners are too far away, and we're putting ourselves in a place where frontliners can get to. So it's more about keeping yourself safe with your positioning than it is about the way that you're using the bomb itself.
Right. So when I roll out initial starting neutral here, when I'm looking at the start of the game and the teams are in neutral, should I be positioning more left stack or right stack, do you think is generally more better?
It depends. It depends on the weapons that they've got. It depends on, like, if this is a tournament setting, like a scrim setting, or if you've just seen these players in solo queue before, rolling out to the... It depends on, like, where you've gone in the past, because if they expect you to go that way, then it's automatically worse. And it depends on, how aggressively you want to play. Are you farming for your special first? Are you positioning to try and bomb out the backliner, in which case you need to be in range of the backliner? There are a lot of variables there, and I can't just answer that in a binary sense. It's all about what you want to do.
Okay, so let's look at it in this situation where they're backline heavy.
Mm-hmm. So
if we have a backline heavy comp...
Well, the question is, where are the backliners?
Right.
If you play against a charger, the number one position that you want to be in is where the charger can't see. It doesn't matter where that spot is on the map, but you go there, because otherwise you die to the charger. And so if the charger position's on left, then you want to position on right, and that's probably the right place to go. If the charger position's on right, then you want to position on left instead. You can play both of the stacks because you have the same advantage over both. They're symmetrical to each other, right? It's the same level geometry. It's just, what are you going to be able to use your weapon effectively to do, given the situation that you're in?
In that regards, I kind of wonder if left would be a little bit better. Because if you're a slosh on right stack, if you have backliners on the ledge, you have less cover to... Like, for example, if you're on the right, there's a small gap between you and their ledge to get under, and I feel like you'd be liable to get sniped compared to being on left side, where you could displace them with a bomb and still be effective, because you'd have to round that corner, and if they're able to watch, because the only way to get under that ledge is you'd have to go around the corner on right ramp. And if they're in the middle with a sniper or a leader, they can snap to you. And you can't really get under that ledge, I feel. Because I've had that happen where I've tried to get under that right ledge and then just got sniped trying to go.
There are a lot of assumptions there. One of them is that just because you've been sniped that way before, that you would always be sniped that way.
I mean, I'm going to assume that a sniper will always hit its shot here.
Right, that is, and that's if the sniper knows you're there. And the challenge is, can you get there without the sniper knowing you're there? That's one of the things that I will definitely say I want you to work on. If I'm going to try and position behind right stack here as I roll out, if I do this, they don't see me move there. They might see me as I'm moving, up to here. And then as soon as I drop here, nobody on the enemy plat has any vision of me the whole time I'm going this way.
Right.
What I probably do from here is sit on the wall for a second, and you can use your camera from here to kind of look around and see pretty much most of what's going on around here. Maybe not exactly what's in front of the
look
stack.
how open that is. Like, you have to cross through that whole open area to
And
get
I'm not
under
suggesting
their
that you
ledge.
cross under there right away or at all. If you're playing right here and somebody approaches the stack on, this side of it, then you don't have to go around. You could just do this. And that hits there. So that's one idea. Another idea you have is you paint this, and then wait and see if they stop you. If they don't stop you, you sneak around here a little bit and do something like this. And Charger over there doesn't have shots on you while you're trying to do that. Even from here, like, that's really difficult unless they already knew to look for you there. And again, we came down here without them seeing us in the first place. So how are they supposed to know that we're here right now?
Now... Oh, I forgot what I was going to ask. I forgot. It was actually something relevant to this situation.
The general idea...
When a lot of times when bright stack fights on right stack happen, I end up going down because that thing you said happens where they manage to get on top of the stack. Something I kind of struggle with is, just in general with V-Slosh, is knowing, because when you're right under the ledge, your range of view is under ledges in general. Like, I'm thinking like Mahi, for example. Your range of view is limited. And so it's like, let's say you're right there and there's a shooter and you know he's there. I feel like it's, a lot of times it's a guessing game of where you need to slosh to, where do you think they are behind the block to throw your slosh to hit them and splat them. And I feel like a lot of time I lose that. And I don't know if that's just something I learned from experience or...
I have a lot of things to say about that. Because I think that we want to take a different approach in a number of different ways. So I'll walk through that bit by bit. But first I've got to say thank you to Chase. Chase247 just rated. Really appreciate you bringing everybody over. Chase is a Tetra Dualies player. I've played against them in tournament quite a number of times. And they do a lot of like YouTube content, guides on especially the Tetras, but also just the game in general.
One moment, I'll be right back.
Sure
My
thing.
mother had surgery and she needs me, so because she's recovering. 1 second, she needs something.
Yeah, sure thing.
Coming.
Well, hello everybody. We're talking about a game of Inkblock Clams, and we're watching a V-Slosher player named Zelor. They were saying that they're not used to playing this weapon, that like they're seeing it's popular right now, but they're not quite getting it. They're not really being able to use it to its full potential, and so they're kind of asking for some tips on how to make it work. And so we're talking about their rollout here, what they do in the opening minute or so of their game, talking about how they can approach the map in general, and some general awareness stuff is what we're going to end up talking about as well. So when they come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that, just to catch you all up. Had another one earlier. For those of you who don't know, on Tuesdays I do VOD reviews for viewers.
Sorry, I'm back.
Yeah, no problem.
She needed help getting out of bed.
Yeah, yeah.
She had a major surgery and she's not
do not mind at all. That is the most valid reason on earth. So
she had a hinal hernia and they had to do a bunch of surgery on her and pull her stomach down because it was too high. And
it sounds really hard, and I'm sure it's stressful for you out there right now. But hope she's doing okay.
She seemed like she was doing better, but she's doing worse today. I'm hoping something didn't come unstitched down there.
Yeah, I hope so too.
The stream is a little choppy.
Well, if you ever need to step away, just say I've got to go real quick, and I'll understand. But
yeah.
Jumping back into it. So first of all, we're talking about from this position here, where you got the wall in your face, and you're trying to play from underneath it. It's hard to see, which is true. Which is why you try to avoid being in that exact situation. You don't want to just sit down here for a long time. What you'll see players do is this. They'll sit on the wall back here. Not high enough that the splashes go up over the top, because chargers can actually hit you when you're right here. This is dangerous. But down here is fine. And from here, you get a better view around. You can do this sort of thing, rocket back and forth. Uh-huh.
I think your stream might be... It's a little choppy, and it seems like it's delayed.
That's only on Discord, I think.
No, I'm talking about the stream. Somebody else in the stream said it was choppy, too.
On OBS right now, it's looking smooth.
Okay.
So, I don't know, maybe it was a little blip or something. But if it was dropping frames or something, it's not dropping frames, though. There's only so
Yeah,
much I
it's
can do
fine
about
now. It might have just been.
it. Anyway. So, first of all, this is a great position to let you collect information, which is something that, as we talked about on the last VOD, you really want to be collecting information before you give your position away and engage. That's the first thing. Like, we don't just want to go, like, we don't just want to roll out, you know, get down here and start doing this, or start doing this, because the chances that those actually hit something, especially the chances that those splat someone, are almost nothing. And what we're doing is somebody on the other side who sees that happening is going to go, oh, there is a bucket around here, and so now I'm going to sneak around here and they don't see me, and haha! Or they're going to see that over there and they're going to back up like, ooh, I don't win that matchup. I'm going to just do this and just kind of go someplace else. They get initiative on you, to use the D&D term. I've been playing way too much Baldur's Gate recently. They get the sense of like where you are first.
They get advantage.
Yeah, exactly. They get
They
to
roll for advantage.
more accurately, they get to react sooner than you do to where you are, because they just get that information sooner. And so they have like literal a speed advantage on you. Their reaction is going to be faster than yours is. So we just don't want to give our positions away early. That doesn't mean that we just don't put any paint on the ground and we try to go full carbon mode where we're just going to sneak everywhere in squid form and nobody's going to ever see me paint a speck. The idea is, if you put paint down on the ground, if you throw a bomb out there, you then move. You get out of that spot. You go someplace else. You fire shots from different positions. And all the while that you're doing this sort of thing, you're collecting information. So this is how you would play if you were trying to play from plat. And then at some point you would recognize that, okay, we've got this whole area in front of me clear. I know it's safe. And I'm not getting anything done by continuing to slosh at it. So now I'm going to move forward. And now I'm going to take, maybe a position like this. I'm going to do this sort of thing. And then maybe I'm going to move someplace else because I saw, oh, somebody was starting to shoot at me over there. I don't have a way to splat them, so I'm going to go someplace else. But one of the things about the slosher is that you're a slayer weapon, and definitely not that great of a skirmisher weapon. Granted, there are times where you're going to have to do both, as we've talked about in those videos, but your job is to finish the fights more often, and that's what your weapon is best at. So, ideally, you don't even start the fight in the first place, unless it's, like, guaranteed. It's like, what is this arrow spray trying to do approaching me? I win those. Unless it's, like, an easy one like that, you kind of want to wait and let them give themselves away before you start going for them. Like, if you drop down here and you notice that the charger's over on wall and this whole area is painted and they're not going for it, you can get this close before you go after them. And then go for it, if they don't know you're there. But as soon as we, put a bomb out there, and then stay in the place we threw the bomb from, then they're going to know where we are, and they're going to be able to react accordingly. So, this is why I say it depends. Like, you don't just go out there and go to right stacks and be like, okay, now I put 2 sloshes over the top, and then I move over here, and now I'm going to be pushing their plat. And from here, I'm going to go after here, and it should be 2 sloshes, and I take out the charger, and now I'm going to go this way. This is Splatoon. Things are going to go wrong. And you need to give yourself more of a flow chart, like a flexible, fluid flow chart that lets you figure out, okay, I went over here, nobody seems to have noticed this, so for now I've got stealth looking this way. Is there someone I can pick over here? No, it looks like they're fighting on the left. I need to get over there and help on the left really quick. Okay, I can hit the shots from here because I know I saw that there was a player there. They're still firing by the time I get here, so I know that they're going to be here. And that's when I'm going to win that fight. This is a non-standard position to take, but sometimes this is the right thing. This is the thing you've got to do. If instead, though, you were to be over here and you were to notice everybody's on the left side, nobody sees me, nobody knows that I'm going to be here, maybe you go as far as this and you get a pick like that. And again, that's also non-standard play, but that can sometimes be the right call. There are too many variables here to just be like, I'm going to go right and that's my whole plan. You call to your team, I'm going to roll out right, and then you get down here and you look for what you can do. You look for what's the plan next. You've got to like be in a period of keeping yourself stealthed, not letting the enemy team know where you are, and processing and figuring that out before you give yourself away, before you fire more sloshes, before you give them the information they need to figure out where you are and make up a plan for how to deal with you.
Can I interject for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Does that also apply to some degree to shooters?
Every weapon, really. Like,
Yeah.
if they don't know where you are, that's an advantage. I don't
Oh.
care if you're a Hydra or a Sploosh.
Well, okay, maybe not a Hydra. You have to charge, but
You can charge behind a wall, though. What chargers, or any charging weapon, like a Hydra or a Charger or a bow or whatever, loves to do is get their charge right here. Because that's hard to see from the front. If, you know, that charge is happening right there, and you're dead on in the center of the map, then they use, you know, a little bit of run speed and have their shots right side peeking around here. You're just dead, because you're out in the open at that point. So even those weapons can use stealth to their advantage. And what I'm seeing from the games that we've been watching from you so far is that you're giving your position away, but then staying in the same place. And you're not putting yourselves in positions where you can use your camera to figure out where other people are very quickly. Or if you're seeing people, you're not responding to that information. So there needs to be more information collecting before you make a decision and commit to sloshing, to commit to attacking something. And that way you'll know what the best idea is, just because you've got more that you've looked at.
yeah. And that's kind of something that I normally actually do, and I just kind of don't know if it was just nerves of playing on the stream, because if you watch some of my other streams where I play, with people from the Discord, I do stuff like that. You know, I'll go behind a corner, I'll wait, I'll take information, and I'll play off of it. I don't know if it's just stress of, being in the stream, or, having hundreds of people watching me, because I just felt like I wasn't playing, I wasn't playing like how I normally would. That
is definitely something that can get in the way. When people are nervous, scared, angry,
Yeah, it's like, I should be doing extra good because I have all those people watching me,
Oh, so I need to
doing stupid stuff that I normally wouldn't.
I'm just gonna play better than usual. If that were a thing if that was a switch you could flip, then you would just always flip it, right?
Yeah.
So don't worry too much about that. We are not here to judge you. We are here to help you figure out what to work on so that you can practice that in future.
Yeah.
So one thing to think about maybe is, am I nervous right now? That could actually just be something to check yourself on. And if you are nervous, the way to get around that is not just be like, okay, just be less nervous. Just be less nervous. That's going to make you worse. What you want to do is clear your head at that point. Just meditation techniques, legitimately, are something that I recommend at a very, very basic level for being able to calm yourself. Because what happens is you get this self-talk going. You get this, oh, I'm playing bad, this kind of value judgment that you're making about your play. And first of all, that's not an analytical thing to say, because that's something that isn't actually telling you what to do differently. It's not telling you what playing good feels like or looks like. It's just saying, this is not working.
Take those games that we played. That's actually one map. Also the two new maps I haven't figured out at all yet. But that map in particular, I feel like is really difficult, because the best option I feel like a frontline would have in that situation is dropping left and trying to get the team to turn around and look at you. But that's such a wide flank. I find a lot of times there can be chances where they drop 3v4s, but usually they have such huge control and pressure over mid. And then I just kind of feel like the right side on that map is there's all those walls there. I was looking for another way to get in. I dropped down by you where you were crabbing because they were shooting at you and I was trying to back you up. But
so that was a lot of things. I want to try and just keep it focused to this game here so that we can pull out what we can out of it. And we can get into the details and talk about how we can reform the process. But generally, I
just feel like sometimes a lot of we talked about this before. When you get locked out as a front line, it's like, what should your plan be?
Okay,
Where I
that's another question, and we can definitely talk about that.
yeah.
But let's try it. Are we going to get locked out in this game here? Is that something that we're going to deal with and that you're looking for some help with?
It almost happens, but we did get a knockout, so it's fine.
Okay. So, and again, what I think we can do most effectively with our time here is to talk not so much about absolute when X do Y, as when X, what considerations do we need to make to come to the right decision?
Yeah.
Because it's when you ask what do we do when we're being locked out? Well, it depends. If you have a numbers advantage and a special out, now you run forward. If you don't have those things, then you pull back and make sure you don't die. If they're rushing one side, then maybe this position's safe, whereas if they're rushing the other side, maybe that position's not. And so there are a lot of these decision trees that we can't answer in absolute terms, but what I can hopefully help with is to give you the right questions to ask, and then hopefully that helps you, resolve some of the contradictions of, oh, well, I've seen this work, but it's not working for me, or because there's usually when it's been something that you've been talking about that you're like, I don't get how this is supposed to work. The answer is that there's more complexity than you're assuming there is in that situation.
Yeah.
That there are more options and more variables at work than you're dealing with in what you're being aware of in game and what you're thinking about afterward. So I'm going to hopefully try and get some of those variables more visible with the VOD review today. Okay, so Charger knows we're here. Our teammate ends up dropping in the same place as us right here, which is not a great plan because the teammate should see, oh, my teammate has already given their position away on this angle, so they've already got the Charger's attention, and if I drop and the Charger has their attention here, I probably go down, and they do. So we lose our teammate there. Charger ends up looking at the other player who dropped into mid, and they run in the opposite direction from us. So right now, Charger's not looking at us, but we also aren't in a position to do really anything about the Charger. Here, we just kind of don't know that our splat bomb doesn't reach that far, and so we throw the bomb. But we also notice that there's, it's there for a flash, but there is a player on top of the stack above us, and so that should become our more immediate concern. Because the Charger can't hit us from that range. They're too far away to hit us there, so they're not the immediate threat. And you always want to focus on the more immediate threat. Right now, the more immediate threat is what's above you, and so if we notice that there's that player on the stack, then that should immediately become the focus of our attention. And what you would want to do when they're up on top of the stack is back up. Because they are still a shorter ranged weapon than you. And so if you get away from the stack, then they can't catch you. If you can hit them as they're on their way up, and then you only have to hit one slosh if they try to rush you, that can work. You just sit right underneath the ledge so that they can't hit down at you because they don't have an angle. But we don't have that kind of initiative on them right now. For all we know, they could be already dropping over the side. So we kind of just need to put some space in between us and them. Knowing that they're a shooter weapon, we can, even if we haven't looked at the comps, we can just be like, okay, I probably outranged that, so let me just back up and use my range against them, and then if they rush you, then you have that range and you're safe. But we just kind of stay in here and stay engaged.
People are spamming egg in chat for some reason.
Cool. That leads us to believe here that I don't think you've seen that player. So from here, we put a bunch of sloshes out, and we're still staying in the same spot. A little bit of a movement flub here and there, which it makes sense. Not everybody has ledge canceling down. I'm not blaming you for the movement flub, but when you do make a movement flub, you want to be aware that number one, you're taking longer than you normally would to get up that ledge. And number two, you're more visible for trying to move that far. So it's more likely that someone's seen you. And right now there are opposing positions to our left, to the middle, and to the right of us. So I think one good question for you to be asking more often is, what is it that threatens me the most right now? And to make more decisions based on keeping yourself safe from that threat. Right now, I would say the biggest threat is the player on the left ramp, as long as you get off the Charger sightline. Getting off the Charger sightline should just kind of be like an automatic thing that you try to do as often as possible. You see the Chargers on left, and so we don't take fights in any position they can see from there. We back up a little bit behind the stack. They're the most immediate threat, I guess you could say, but they're kind of like a constant presence that's dictating where you're positioning. So I don't even like... that's more automatic to me at this point. But I guess in this position, I would say Charger's your first threat. Player on the left ramp is the second threat, because they could come around from behind you, and if you're looking forward at the enemy team, they could come up behind and get you in the back. And now player on the right is a bigger threat because they've moved toward you. The other players haven't. You have cover from the Charger. You have some amount of cover, and at least distraction from the player on the left. Player on the right, though, might just shoot at you right now. And they actually do, and you get out of the way just in time. How does the bow... Why does the bow push you like that? That's weird. They're going way aggressive outside from behind cover, so I'm surprised that they're going in for that. But we do manage to get them. But now notice, like, Charger knows exactly where you are. Because, again, whole game, 40 seconds or so, we've been behind this right stack, haven't moved. So they've been watching us, they've known we're here, they've fired a couple shots at us. If they hit that shot, then they splat us. Fortunately, they don't hit that one, and they have to hit the tap shots, which means that our teammate can go in and trade for us. Since they're shooting at us specifically, if you just move and make it difficult for them to hit you, T-Tech should probably be able to figure it out and finish them off for you. So there I would say you're the skirmisher, they're the slayer, and just kind of try and let that happen if you're the one that they're hitting shots on. See, this is why you don't point out that they're spamming something in chat, because now more people are spamming egg.
Stop spamming egg.
See, you can't tell Twitch chat not to do something. It needs to be mesmerized in layers of reverse psychology.
Try an experiment then. Do not hit follow for the Squid School channel, and do not subscribe on the YouTube.
There we go. Excellent. See, this is reverse psychology now. Now they're going to accept that they know what you're actually trying to get them to do. See, the chat will always act against what you're doing. They will always oppose you, whatever it is that they can detect that you want. So you got to be a pretty good actor to get away with the reverse psychology. But these are just the things you learn when you're Mr. Squid School. All right, this is great positioning, and if your aim is just a little bit better, you immediately get the Charger. So I don't blame you at all for any of this. Like, yeah, I can say just aim better, forehead, but like that's literally the only thing I can say that's wrong with this play. You recognize that the Charger is there before you start firing shots at them. You hit your first shot even, and it's just keeping the aim a little bit steadier so that the second one lands as well. What I also want to point out is, like, you fire some sloshes here, you throw a bomb there, but then you move. So now they don't know exactly where you are. They know you're like over here on the left somewhere vaguely.
Because I saw the guy jump. So I knew they were trying to drop down the ledge.
Yeah.
So I was trying to clear space and get around.
The point here is just now they don't know where you are, and because they don't know where you are, you get a really good engagement. We don't quite follow up all the way, but our teammates are able to finish it off. Like, good stuff.
With this position, is there a liability that somebody could have been top left and dropped down on me?
Depends on whether they were splatted recently. Let's back up for just a second and take a look at who's up, who's down. So there are 3 players alive, 2 players alive. It's the Aerospray and the Charger at the moment. One of those is running away over there, and then the other one is here. So it's very, very unlikely that there's someone there. Unless, like, those 2 that you saw, like one on the ramp and the Charger here, were the same player, and there's somebody else elsewhere on the map, then it's probably not going to happen. Given the number of weapons they have, their frontline weapons, it's also very unlikely that there's someone up there at that moment. Like, what would the Aerospray be doing in that position? They'd be painting and not hitting anything.
Because if I threw a bomb or if I threw a slosh up there, I would have given myself away.
Right,
I agree. Problem. And if I don't, I could have got dropped down on. So
I totally agree. What I'm saying is, like, I think that your positioning after you fire that slosh and that bomb is great. You come at them from an angle they don't expect. They have to turn and look at you. And even though you don't end up getting the pick yourself, teammate gets it. From here, you have a couple clams, but I would probably have picked up that one on your way up the ramp. Even if you didn't have any, that would allow you to throw one at your teammate who has 7, and you'd make a power clam, and you'd be able to score right now. I would definitely be throwing a clam now at them to make a power here, because the only reason we're not scoring is that we don't have that. So there's a lot of time we spend before we throw that clam. That's the first priority. When you have an advantage, you've got to push it as quickly as possible, and since we now have this advantage, we want to be getting points in the basket sooner than later, before the defense makes it back. So we do get it there, awesome. And now, at some point, we want to throw these clams in. Now, something else to be thinking about is, am I taking a different angle from my teammates? So the first question we asked was, am I threatened? Like, where's the nearest threat? Second question is, am I in a different position than my teammates are? Right now, your teammate ran off to the bottom right, and you're also retreating in the same direction. If you were to play the left side of Plat instead, that would split their attention, and there would be more opportunities for you or your teammates to do something at a time where your opponents aren't looking at you. What you'll see top teams do on Clam Blitz when they get a really good opening is they'll put people in 3 very different positions, all of who have clams, and they'll jump out just close enough to the basket to throw 1 clam in and then back up. And the enemy team will try to go at that player, but they only threw 1 clam in, and now they're backing up, and now they're safe. And in the meantime, while they were focusing on that one player who threw a clam, somebody else on the opposite side is throwing a clam in. And then they're going after that player, and then the player in the middle does it. And they just kind of lead the enemy team around in a circle, distracting them repeatedly by throwing like a clam or 2 in when it's time to refresh the basket timer. And in the meantime, someone else is getting more clams, and that's how we keep the push going. Right now what's happening is the team is largely all retreating in the same direction, which means that the enemy team has fewer different locations they have to look at to see what threatens them. And it's easier for them to get a handle on the situation. We want to be hitting from multiple different angles more often. So, good job throwing that bomb. They don't respect it, and so they go down. Even if they did respect it, they would be forced to move, and that's a win. I would, having seen my teammate directly behind me like that, I would definitely move a little bit further away, again, so we don't go down to some kind of AoE. There is a Dread Ringer in the game, there is a bow in the game. They could both hit both of us at the same time. We want to avoid that. Bombs also. At some point, I would probably have painted this wall. We've swam past it twice without painting it, and getting us that access point is going to be helpful, so we don't have to come in the same direction every time. Charger, remember, saw us come around the ramp, but maybe next time they're watching the ramp and we go up the wall, and we mix them up that way. Here, I would say the push is probably done if we're not scoring our own clams at this point. So we get 1 player, and then chumps are out here. We're down a player. We've disengaged from the fight as well. Our teammates are further forward than we are, so they're liable to go down here. And from here, Charger Laser is a warning bell that goes off in my head. As soon as I ever see that flash of light, I'm always just like, get behind cover, get behind cover. Don't challenge it.
And I should be behind the tree, but he does have sight there. I was trying to get behind the tree quick enough, but if you look, I can guarantee you that sniper could have hit me.
Yeah. I would never count on that tree trunk as cover against a Charger. They don't have to move very far at all.
I had a nickel for every time a Charger hit me when I thought I was behind something.
Mm-hmm. Even the block the Charger is standing on is really scary. You have to be at exactly the right position behind something even that wide. So the tree trunk, yeah, forget about it. They're going to hit you.
And that's why I realized I'm overextended and tried to get out, but obviously it didn't work. So I shouldn't have gone on ledge in the first place.
Something that I would be looking at once I get splatted here is I'd be popping the map open so that I can see where the enemy team is going and what I'm going to have to respond to next. Because the way that you have to go to move out on the map is going to depend on where they are and where your teammates are. So if they're pushing your right bats, then you want to aim even your launch here out further to the right. And if they're pushed back all the way to their plat, you might just want to super jump to one of your teammates. It changes where it is you want to move out to. Here, you can see there's a whole bunch of enemy ink coating your base. which is definitely sign for concern. Even if there's no one there, it's good to have that painted, so that if that happens again, now you know that there is someone there, because you definitely attended to it. And they make a clam while you're jumping in as well. So that's something that would have immediately caught my eye, just like, why is that purple? Oh god, they're in our base. So we now beeline for this sponge, which is exactly what our teammate is doing, and since we're on top of them, we're going to get hit at the same time that they are by the Dreadringer. I would probably... Ideally, you notice earlier and don't even jump out in the first place, but I probably actually would have super jumped back to spawn as soon as I noticed all that, instead of going for the sponge at the same time my teammate was. Just so we're taking two different angles. Or maybe use the bucket to hit up over the side or something and try and help them that way, but that seems inconsistent. So, I like that we're moving over here to paint this. This is good. Right now, I would definitely be checking map. I actually just subconsciously just clicked the X button a couple times really quickly, which means that my practice is working. But, like, you can't see very much right now. There's a lot that's going on Plat, especially, that's blocked by the stacks, that's blocked by walls. So, given that it's safe, given that there's not much that threatens you right now, just get a little bit of information from the map so you know where to head to next.
In that case of rolling out, where I'm so far away when I'm re-entering, if I see pain like that, it's fine to throw a bomb if I suspect someone's by the ledge right on rollout. Because I'll still have the high ground on this map, so...
Yeah, like, rolling a bomb over the ledge can be a way to clear it out. What I like to do with bombs a lot of the time, as a more aggressive weapon, is if I want to drop, I'm going to roll a bomb exactly where I want to drop. So that way I know that they're not right on top of me, and then I know I've narrowed down the number of angles that I have to look at, because I'm going to drop on, like, the far side, and I'm going to put a bomb on the far side so they can't be behind me. I know they have to be in front of me if they're down there, and I could be pre-firing them as I drop off the ledge. You know, just cut off as many options as you can. But the answer, again, is it depends. Because if the whole thing is purple, a single bomb is not going to check very much, and it is going to let them know much more precisely where you are. So,
yeah,
you have that to consider.
If there is a whole bunch of purple and I want to find, like, say, oh, I don't know, they have your entire ledge painted. What's the best, well, general, obviously it depends, way to go about, hey, they control a huge area and I want to see where it's safe to drop? What's a good way
in
general?
You're not thinking to drop very quickly, but what you want to start doing is getting paint so that you narrow it down. You need to, like, reduce the number of available options that they have while painting from a safe place. So that might mean rolling a bomb. That might mean using your slosher range from further back on the ledge to hit just underneath it. It might mean letting a teammate do it. It might mean going somewhere else. Depends on what resources you have at your disposal, what your objective is at that moment. Are we at an advantage and I'm just trying to sprint forward? Are we at disadvantage and I'm trying not to die? Are we even? I'm trying not to get picked, but I'm trying to look for picks. Like, all of those variables can play into what you do. There is no one answer to that question. Here, if they super jump to your base with the power clam, they're throwing. Now, there's a very particular way you have to punish it, but you can definitely win the entire game off of that mistake, if they make it. And the way you do it is just by keeping their basket open. So the goal here is, you always want to be looking in Clam Blitz at the number of clams that each side has, so that you know what the scoring potential is. Right now we see a 0. We never want to see a goose egg there. We always want to have at least 1 or 2. So if it is a 0, you're on the clock to get more clams and get them in the basket. What ideally we do is we don't throw all of our clams in at the same time. We wait and let the basket reset so that somebody else on our team, while we're waiting to score, is able to go and get more clams and bring more of them in. That's a weird jump. Maybe somebody got splatted and they were trying to... Or maybe they didn't feel safe. I don't know. Oh, it looks like they just jumped back to spawn. Okay. Here's another example, by the way, of standing in the same place as the rest of your teammates. Like, you definitely want to play more over on the left-hand side if all of your team is going to be here, so that your enemies have to look in multiple different places. But, maybe use the cover on the far left. If we're going to throw bombs at the back line, we need to be close enough to throw the bombs at the back line. And so that would be something to work on if that's part of your game plan.
Just whiff that.
Here, again, like, we don't worry at all about them super jumping a power clam. Again, if they're super jumping a power clam to your base, that's throwing. Just get the clams
the
that are
thing
over...
is you look right here, there's a sniper up there. They have a power clam. I was worried they were about to jump. I was about to jump to spawn because I was worried they were going to throw that in. Even because I didn't want, at the end of the push to drop. Like, obviously they're going to be down 2. But if for some reason our team goes down, then they're going to have an opportunity to open and counter. So I just wanted to jump back to...
And there's the if. There's the if. If your team doesn't keep the basket open. Your team can absolutely keep the basket open in a 4v2. You have 3 clams to the right of you in mid here. Just get those clams and throw them in and be like, sure, take my base. That's fine. I don't care that you're there. We've got clams all over the map, and we don't have to go back to the base. We can just score enough that we win the game off of this push. And that's what you want to be aiming for here. It's scary because you're thinking, oh, but what if it closes? But the chances of it closing are far, far smaller if you just stay there and keep the clams coming. You've got clams there in mid. You want to get those 3 clams in mid and just get them into the basket right now. Because now we're fighting at disadvantage to take our own base back. Like, we've got our back turned to the enemy team. We're aiming up at high ground at a charger who's got range on us. We could maybe throw a bomb up there and reach it, but we're not going to be able to hit that. The strikes are being used. And again, the strikes don't need to be used because they're not in a place that we need them not to be. As long as we keep their basket open, then we just get to score here.
Like...
It's like, imagine that they take your base while you have the Rainmaker and you're in their base. You don't care about that. You just win the game. Same deal in clams.
And that kind of happened in one of our other games. The person... I was in that fight on far right, and maybe I should have just... So, when we were playing... my brain always blanks on that map. Not the Scorch Gorge, the other one.
Brinewater, yeah.
Brinewater. There was one point where there was somebody on far right.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember this, actually.
And I didn't want them to flank it, so I went after and I was calling out, hey, I'm trying to deal with this. And I ended up actually going down in that fight because the second person backed them up. In that case, because they were so far out of position, so I just said, hey, you... like, obviously there's a lot of if situation, but if someone's, like, really far out of position, is it just better to say, hey, the person's over here, but we have a 4v3. Let's push while they're too far behind us.
Again, and you're going to get sick of me saying this, but the answer is it depends. In that situation, they were so far away from the tower that they were no threat to the tower. And therefore, they're not a priority. They're not in the triage order. You always want to focus on what's the most immediate threat to you. So if it's not them, then it's probably what's in front of the tower. And if it's going to take them like a good 5 seconds before they are actually the nearest threat, then you can deal with what's in front of you for the first 5 seconds. And then once they finally come up for the flank behind, first of all, tower is moving away from them. So it's going to take them longer to catch up than if they were attacking it from the front. They're just going to take longer before they're in play. Second of all, on that map, tower goes uphill. So in that situation where they come up from behind you, they might not even have range to hit the tower anymore because it's gotten too far past them. And then they're, again, at a disadvantage. And in that time, they're probably fighting later than the rest of their team is, unless the rest of their team is really disciplined about it. If we can't get anything done in the front, then yeah, we need to start worrying about that player who's behind us, because their team is waiting and they're going to pop specials, and then they're going to come in and have that flank behind us, and now it's a problem. And now we actually do have to deal with it. But in that moment, most of their team is down. That player wasn't in our way. We just pushed the objective until they are in our way again.
Okay.
Here's another way to think about it. Like, Splatoon, there's no deathmatch mode, obviously. You know, that's a very, very oft-cited piece of advice, that it's all about the objective. And so you only fight when you need to fight to play the objective. If they're going to let you score for free, you don't have to go back and kill them. You just score for free. And that's how you win the game. Now, at certain levels, it can be more challenging in solo queue to pull that off in Clam Blitz in particular, because people don't always know to just stall the basket. Stalling the basket is something that's kind of counterintuitive. Like, people get there and they're like, I just gotta get the clams in as fast as I can before I get splatted. They're not thinking, let's keep the basket open as long as possible. They're thinking, let's just score all the clams now. Because the rub with that, to be Shakespearean, I guess, is that it's a cricket term, I think. I think that's what it is. Anyway, the problem with it is that when you score all of them at once, all you're ever going to score is what you came to the basket with, because the basket's going to close before you can get more. Being able to keep the basket open depends on whoever's not scoring going back and getting more clams, so that by the time that the player who's scoring is done, there are already more clams to go, and you score more than you came to the basket with. And that's the part that's missing most often from especially like lower ranked Clam Blitz play, is that understanding of the theory behind it. But you, as an individual player, can usually make that happen. And in that case, you did have an opportunity to by picking those clams up in mid and making sure to score those and score them slowly to give the rest of your team time to get more in. Or, alternatively, even if you can't KO on that immediate push, what you can do is make it take so long before they're able to score on your basket that your defenders, who are rushing back to stop them, have more time to get them splatted, to figure out what angle they have to take. And they have to stay alive longer if they're going to get this silly jump play done. I like those first two strikes a lot. It completely forces them to be over on the far right side of you. The left strike, I don't think, is stopping anything, because the players that we know are here are over on the far right. You've already manipulated them into moving to the right, and so you've shoved them away from the place where this third strike would hit. I would put this third strike underneath the attic area, so that it's like, sometimes with booyah bombs and even tri-strikes a little bit, if you hit them on a wall underneath someone, it's harder for them to see that the strike is there, and they get surprised by the AoE coming up through the floor and hitting them. So that's one trick you can go for, and also it would just keep them from being able to see you as you get up onto their plat, and you can feel a lot more safe about moving there.
I actually don't know where you mean. Do you mind or showing where that would be, what you mean on that third strike?
Okay. So you see on the right, there's the picture of those like 4 little monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Just move to the left. You've got this square of gray with a line down the middle. Dead center in the middle of that square. It will go up through the floor and hit part of the attic area to the top right, so that a backline player can't use that. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Let's go and do recon real quick.
Yeah, please.
Yes, always hit 2 sloshes on that wall. That's really good. It's unpaintable. The paint won't go anywhere, and that's optimal. All right, here we go. Right there. Just look at how much of that hits. When you're standing up here, it's not the easiest thing to see that it has been thrown right there at that wall. You really have to just be looking for the dotted line. You can't see the thing flying through the air and flashing. And then if you stay here and try and take a shot, it comes up through the floor out of nowhere and splats you.
Huh.
Works with Booyah Bombs too. The way that you throw the strikes, it's deceptive, like the way that it's going to function. Because you think, like with most things, you're throwing the projectile and the projectile is what's going to hit them. But that's not how it works. The projectile is just going to call down a column of death surrounding it. And however high, however low, up over a ledge, you know, below, doesn't matter. It's going to hit a column with that as its center point. And so there are some more creative ways than just throwing the ball at someone that you can position it where it'll hit them nevertheless. Yes, we're past this.
So are there situations where you could throw it into walls and hit them through the wall then without them seeing, like on Marie? If you threw it on the right side or something of the wall?
Yes, that can absolutely happen.
Will they see the... Because when you throw it, if you can throw it...
They'll see the
Let's see
dotted
what they-
line, and that's about it. They'll see the dotted line that indicates that this is the radius of death. And then, I mean, if they can see the column coming down from the sky, then sure, they'll see that. But they won't see the beacon that you're throwing, the little, like, buoy-looking thing that flashes, because it's on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
Takes a little bit of extra brain juice to be like, wait, they threw that there. That means it's going to come here, and therefore I need to back up. Hello, new here. I'm Dad. Ha 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 ha. Those poles are the worst. I hate those poles. Why are there poles in this game? You cannot swim up them. They are there literally just to get in the way. And that's the only thing they do. They do not tell you any information unless it's on Rainmaker and it's the Rainmaker free zone. Those I get. But, like, why? Why are they there? What is the point? Anyway. From there, because it's a charger, even though we're like, I've got to get in there, I've got to do something aggressive, I've got to stop them, we can't put ourselves in a position where they threaten us.
Yeah.
There's a world where they've played this right, and we just have to let them score, and all we can do is take the time while they're scoring to get into position to be actually able to stop them once we get there.
Yeah, because I ended up trying to go after them because I didn't want him camping people who were jumping back into our base. Also, there's a clam over there.
The clam
I tried to go for
super
him, and I
jumped in
just ended up
there.
dying.
Clam super jumped in there since you got splatted.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were, you know, a concern for a super jump to happen. And I'm actually surprised the clam super jump didn't happen. They were probably spam pinging this way like crazy. That bomb right there is scary unless you move. Because now they know that you're here and you've lost the element of surprise. From down here, you can use the slosher's ability to hit up over ledges really well. Ramps kind of work that way because picture there's a shooter player at about the same place as that sprinkler, and you back up. If the shooter wants to aim down low enough to hit you, they're going to hit the floor before their shot reaches you, if it's a straight line weapon. So you can kind of use that against a weapon that doesn't know you're here, but as soon as they know you're here, they're just going to right side peek the corner to your right over there. And now you're at disadvantage. So this play is a stealth play. If you're going to be this far in, you don't want to be walking in and sloshing, you don't want to be walking in and bombing unless you're going to move someplace else after. This would be a time to maybe check map. This would be a time, because we don't know where that player is, to see where our teammates are going and what they're looking at. There is a player of ours who's in mid, and it would be surprising for them to not notice the player that you're worried about and start shooting at them if they're in mid. So that would be something you could look for. Are they aiming at that player, or are they aiming someplace else? And that could give it away. All right. Right now, we've got advantage, and our teammate is going for the power clam, which means that everyone's going to be looking at them instead of us. So right now, I say go and get that player with the power clam. They're just sitting out in the open, probably looking at your teammate, and you get 2 free sloshes on them, and they go down. I like this, I like this. And again, you know, right here would be the moment to put it up against that wall. Because what we're trying to do is keep them away from being able to drop off the ledge. We're trying to put a wall between them and our teammates here. And if we don't have a hole in that wall, then we can kind of just move in and take it for free. But they're able to kind of drop down from there and get the power plant holder. There are times, and this is like... So there's the major solo queue thing to do, which is not to notice that they've scored on us and just hold the power clam at their basket and wait there and keep trying to score. That's a bad idea. There's the next level of solo queue thing to do, which is to run backwards immediately and everyone tries and defends this. And what I would propose is that there's a third level of, like, you know, I don't know if this is the big brain meme or whatever, but where you recognize that you have 3 players already back at the basket defending it, and if you just keep the enemy team from being able to jump in or get picks on them as they try to pick up clams and run forward, that your team, after they successfully defend, because they have 3 members there and the enemy team is 2 down, if you hold the line in front of you, once your teammates successfully defend, now they'll be able to move up to the basket faster. That's probably what I would do, but...
If I went to mid, say, for example, to intercept that, though, couldn't they just jump over me?
If there's, you know, if there's an ability to super jump, then yes. But also, if they're going to super jump in, they're probably not going to do it without any clams. If they do it without any clams, then your teammates just can't the jumps and they die. They're probably going in to try and score a power clam if that's what they do, and you can see power clams. So if they make a power clam, you can get on top of them and pressure them so that it's not safe for them to super jump and prevent them from ever doing that in the first place. And if they don't have power clams, maybe if they grab like 5 individual clams and then they get in there, then that works. But your goal here is to intercept them before they get the clams. That would be the play there. I wouldn't recommend doing that like immediately. That's probably something that's really, really situational that can be dangerous at times. That's not your number 1 rule. But that's something that I would also consider. Okay, they're stuck. At the point that they're stuck, and
I tried to throw a bomb to get them there, but I
just
mechanically flubbed the bomb. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I saw I sloshed so they couldn't go forward, and then I was going to throw the bomb and get them, but I kind of just missed the bomb, so they jumped out.
I'd say here, just recognizing that they have no ways out, you probably anticipate they're going to back up and you chase them in. And from here, we're putting ourselves in a position where we cannot see around the corner, and we don't want that. Just use the right stick, and you don't even have to move very much at all around the corner, but you can see what they're up to. They're probably jumping out, and you might be wasting your time just waiting here for them to do something.
Which is what happens.
Yes. So one of the things that we want to be doing is finding creative ways to see around cover. Not letting ourselves have walls in our faces, but using the right stick, climbing up on the side of a wall if we're behind one to be able to see over the top. Using those kinds of vision tricks so that you can collect more information. So we know that there's a player on left plat, and these sloshes are not going to hit them because there's a block in the way. So it's dangerous to shoot those out because now they know we're coming, unless we move, which we do, which is good. Although I think we had an opportunity if instead of sloshing, we just kind of swam forward and tried to do a little more stealthily. There might have been an opportunity to get up on top of them before they even recognized it. Our teammate is moving over to the right, and they're drawing a lot of fire. And so, knowing that they have a power clan, the enemy team's likely to shoot at them, they're probably going to rotate over in that direction since that's where the score is coming from, and their defenders are not there. I would move up to under the ledge and try to catch someone while they're shooting at my teammate here. Nice. And again, that's right there. That was it. That was exactly what I was looking for you to do. Someone's shooting at your teammate, that's the perfect time to shoot at them. And they are not going to beat you for that, no matter like what weapon they've got. And you're able to turn around and outskill the charger who decided to try and beat you with tap shots. So nice job.
Which I don't know why a charger would try to tap shot, but...
If it's all they've got, it's all they've got. And they might think that you already saw them, so...
Admittedly, that was a waste of a strike, but I didn't want to get caught in the explosion of the tri-stringer or have anyone drop down on me, which it was a bad strike, but... What
you might want to do with the strikes is... you haven't, like, thrown any clams or anything. Like, there's no... You haven't, like, tried to position yourself to score at all because you aren't scoring. You're throwing strikes instead. So if you're going to not score for a second, might as well back up further on plat so you have a wider view of everybody coming in and you can see where they're coming, and then you strike where they're trying to go instead of just striking like, I don't want them to go here. Like, make the strikes more difficult to deal with by getting information about their velocity first and putting them there. And then once all the strikes are up and you've got the smoke screen, then you go in and score the clams that you've got. Okay, nice. Yeah, we definitely had some opportunities to score there that we didn't take, but you're doing a good job of slaying once they're all dropping in and rushing desperately here. Unfortunately, we missed some of those shots, and, you know, some of that is just, like, leading your shots and stuff that'll come with time. I definitely like that you're turning around and looking at the other players now, because you recognize this player is out of my control, but also my teammates are probably going to be able to handle that. What you don't want to happen is for someone to be able to streak in with a power clam while everyone else on your team is looking the wrong way. And so you're playing guard of the other side. The only thing I would say is that at one point there you walk like right in front of your teammate looking the opposite direction, and that can like discombobulate them a little bit. You might want to move a little bit further away, especially since the left side is where you're most threatened.
I have a funny clip to remind me to share with you where that exact thing happens, where it was Alfonso zones, and we saw the brush was trying to, you know, do classic solo queue brush play and get power clams and rush the goal. So we were all at the top of the ramp, bunched up together. And because we were all bunched up at the top of the ramp to each other, we all blocked each other's shots. And the brush ran straight through the middle of all four of us, and none of us shot him, and he actually scored. This is why you don't stand on top of each other. Mm-hmm. That day I learned don't stand on top of your teammates, because part of the reason I was on the right, like you said, I was too close to them. But I wanted to be in a position where I could at least support them. Like, if I went far left, that's why I was kind of where I was positioning.
It's like right there.
I want to make sure, because if I go far left, it takes time. It's going to take time to rotate up there. And until I rotate up there, I can't help my teammates fight there.
I think at this point, if you're turning around away from the fight, you're giving up on the idea of helping your teammates. Earlier when we were scoring. When you were talking about when we were two bunched up. Yeah, I want to make sure I was in range of my teammates to support the fight there. That's why I was. I'll show you a position to consider. They're basically like every time that I was talking about your position on plat, I kind of wanted you to move to. So I'll show you that position in recon in a second. We're almost done with the game here, so we'll finish it up and then we'll go do that. So they're camping a jump. That's all they have to do. So from here, I would probably just move all the way to left ramp and make sure that they can't get in from there. Everything else your teammates are going to be able to help with. There is really dangerous because you've got a teammate who's shooting in this direction already, and then you jump out from around the corner in front of them. So it's going to block some of their shots, but more importantly, the opponent is already shooting at them. And since you're already damaged, they might just like accidentally pre-fire you and take you out without even knowing that you were coming in the first place. There's someone jumping right flat. Oh, got a little distracted. Oh, but it doesn't matter because the game ends. All right, we made it.
Yeah, I couldn't watch both clams there, and I should have maybe positioned further back so I could keep an eye on both of them.
Let me show you that spot that I want you to be taking in recon real quick.
It's like, yeah, I know you can climb rail, go left side, although I don't like climbing left rail because they tend to get splatted, I noticed. But...
Alright, so let's say I'm a defender, and I just spawned in. What can I see? I can see the area out here in front of the basket. When I get further out here, and I drop to this, I can see this straight line in front of me really well. I can see this all here, and I can shoot all of this. What can I not see? Hey, I can score from right here, and then I can drop back behind a ledge that I have right side peek on. And if someone tries to come up over the top of me, I am a bucket. We hit those. And then you probably move somewhere else, but they can't just approach this for free. And so that means that you're pretty safe being right here. And this is a great place to score clams. If your teammate is right here, and they're scoring, and somebody's shooting at them, if it's a short-range weapon and they're having to drop down, you win that. Now, this is a little bit less safe if there's like a charger up here, but that's one of the reasons that, we maybe bomb that or throw strikes at that. So we do one of those while they're aiming at someone else and then duck back behind the corner. They're probably still aiming at our teammate instead of us, so they don't notice that until it's too late. And then they have to move. And then we score another clam. And then we wait and see what else we do. So this is a really powerful position, and sitting right here, especially when you've got teammates that are moving back and forth across this area, where, again, this is the most visible area on the map for the defenders to be able to see. Better to take some positions like out here, where, if you need to get back into the fight over here, you can. You can do this sort of thing. Or you can, hit anything that you could hit from there, except for maybe that. But it's another angle that they have to clear out. And it's also a really good place to give super jumps to. If, someone wants to jump the pity clam in, you jump it in here. It doesn't matter that they know it's coming, because they just can't get there in time to shoot it before it comes around the corner and scores. So, that's a really strong position. All right. Do you have any questions for me?
endless amounts of questions. Don't even get me started. But
anything you think we can cover in a reasonable amount of time?
Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned is it worth to so let's take Manta Marie for example. A lot of times when I play that on Splatter, I'll drop right side.
Splatter, like splatter shot?
Yeah, the splatter shot's my main weapon, actually.
Okay.
And I'll try to obviously see when they're not looking. And I'll usually try to flank right. I'll ink the wall, jump to the wall, but I don't climb over the ledge. I go all the way around to where the Rainmaker go. Like, I'll ink along the wall and try to flank them. Now, the problem with that is, yes, I'm making them look the wrong way, but when should I be considering if a flank is worth it or not, or if I'm liable to just go in and die?
That flank is inherently very risky. The biggest, most important thing about any flank is that it's not a flank unless the rest of your team is pushing in a different direction at the same time.
Yeah.
If you don't get that coordinated, if you can't like recognize that your team is going in and then come in with the flank, you're not taking a flank, it's a 1v4. So that's the hard part, especially in solo queue, is that you need to be aware of what your teammates are doing to know when coming in like that is going to work. Generally, what you look for in solo queue is for your opponents to be looking away from you, looking someplace else. Giving signs away through their body language that they do not see you, because if they did see you, they would be doing X instead. I'm going to play a quick match here. This is also Clam Blitz. It's going to be Umami and Ship Shape, so not quite the same map. But maybe talking through some of my decisions will help a little bit.
Yeah. Umami, or not Umami, Ship Shape is, I have not figured it at all as a front line.
It's
where I'm
new.
supposed to be and Crab Capital. Those are new though. It's expected.
Right, exactly. How would I go about getting live feedback on one of my matches? Just get into the Squid School Discord server, and the link tree was actually just posted, so you could find it from there. And just DM me, and we'll get you set up for a Tuesday slot. Or if Tuesdays don't work or something, then we can set you up with Metafy. Alright. So, I'm checking to see where they're rolling out at first. I want to know if there's going to be a bunch of people on left. There's going to be one on left, and I don't know what it is, and I don't want to fight it immediately. Teammate, unfortunately, goes in a little too deep. I don't like this hammer, because we are not defending the basket. I'm backing up. Just drawing aggro, and then as soon as I'm threatened, I'm getting out of there. That's going to make it take longer for them to get to basket. I was definitely pickable there, so I was a little bit too slow on that. I don't have a great way in if I move forward, so I'm going to reposition and move over here. I can help stop that player. And now, relatively harmless if we get rid of this player. This is annoying. I'm just going to strike them out. Ah, that was a good shot. So we're still not in control here. And unfortunately, we don't have a ton of paint to be able to get control back. Because it's paint that we need in that middle area there to make sure no one's coming through. I don't have the fire rate to really, like, pre-fire it the way a shooter can. So we stopped them, at least. But I keep getting Toxic Misted. I'm putting that in a really good, annoying place. So that should clear them out of there. Now, we've got to get some position in front of us here. I might just need special to do that, because... Oh, man, please don't run in like that. Oof. We don't have a lot of paint here to work with. I'm striking it just to get it clear, and that's not safe. I shouldn't be getting up there.
Why not use the left side? Because you have a ledge there you can use.
I don't want them to be able to move past me. There's already not enough stopping the choke point. And I can stop the choke point with bombs and with my big hitbox. So I'm trying to make sure that they just can't get through, that they're running themselves into a wall every time they try. Okay, I've got an Inkjet out on my team, and we've got numbers advantage, so I'm trying to find them. Even if I go down, if it gives the Inkjet good shots, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Unfortunately, again, we just don't have any paint working with us here. We can start to take control of mid here. Okay. Somebody got in. I'm going to try and use those to get our power clams in. This will not get us to lead, but it'll get us closer. If I were able to get to that power clam, then that would have been lead, but that was probably not going to happen. They were already pre-firing me as soon as I moved there. Okay, making sure that there's not anybody there. I like that we're dropping, but kind of using the ledge like that. It's a strong position for them. Oh, where did that come from? I guess right as someone was popping the hammer, they happened to be running forward, so they got through. You can also make it over the top in theory, but ideally that's covered and should never happen. Oh, shoot. Alright, well we got one player with it anyway. And now the Zuka should go down, so that's actually positive. But we are not stopping up the gap. We are not painting this. And because of that, they're able to just slip through every time. We really need to be keeping this area right here painted. And if it's not, then we're going to lose. So they're just going to keep running forward, and eventually someone's going to get through and they're going to score.
I have no clue what that person's doing on the left rail.
Let's help our teammate here. They're putting up the Brella shield, trying to let us through. I'm not going to be able to get through off of that, but I might be able to get a pick that helps us move forward later. You just keep that player away. Oh boy. Oh, that's interesting. They're over the top of us now. This is bad. I'm going to get rid of that and then go the other way. Shoot. It's a little bit of a misdirection, but it wasn't enough to get me out of that hole. Oh my god, we're just making power claims.
I mean, isn't that a top 500 right there?
Yeah, I mean, early in the season, it can be kind of questionable. And also, top 500 in the NA servers is typically not that high up. It's usually like 2,300 or something.
Yeah. Because I want to at least... My goal, because I have gotten to X rank before, but my goal is I want to get the X rank badge, which is top 3,000. I think that's somewhere in the 2,000 range, I believe.
Okay. Oh boy. Please go away. Darn it. Didn't go.
I know you have the rank up series for the letter ranks. Would you ever do videos for more advanced stuff for X rank up information, like 1700 to 1800, 1800 to 1900? Or is it just generally...
It's difficult to say that that's really that meaningful a distinction at that point. I don't know, I was running forward. We didn't even have the basket open. I think, like, having a broader bucket to slot people into is better, because at that point we're getting too specific. Like, there's too many variables that might mean... I fluctuate between, like, 2,400 and 1,900, right? Like, I've been at both of those levels off of placements and whatnot. So I don't think that there's there is a meaningful difference overall between, like, 1,700 and 1,900, but an individual player will span a pretty wide range within that. So.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out, you had 3 of your teammates at the top of the ramp. So I was trying to figure out why you didn't just drop left, because you're a bucket. You have that, you can pressure that ledge, and you can pressure behind the walls.
Because if I'm there and I get pressured by anything, I have to back so far away that I can't stop them from scoring. And I didn't trust that we were going to keep that choke point painted well enough to keep them away from it. Yeah. If ideally we keep that choke point clogged up the way that we should, they should just have to fling themselves into that choke point and get splatted for doing it. And then we win and we move forward. Since we weren't clogging that choke point, moving away from it was going to make it only going to make it easier for them to get through. I wasn't going down generally when they tried to push that choke point. I was going down after they got let through it. So the defensive position I was taking was about as effective as I could be on the weapon, and it was just difficult for the weapon comp that we had and the lack of bombs we were throwing to keep it cleared.
Maybe just making a general I think how what what should you be looking for to increase your X-ring video, I think would help, honestly, a lot of people. Like, obviously there's a wide spectrum of
I mean,
of
I'm
stuff.
sure a lot of the videos that I have out already on these specific things are the sorts of things that would help with that. Thing is, I can't just, like, lump everybody, you know, all of the same mistakes in the same buckets all the time. With, like, B rank, C rank kind of thing, I could, like, isolate everybody to know that everyone in the room was just in that rank. Whereas, if I'm 1700, that doesn't mean that the players I'm playing against are 1700. So even if I were willing to drop my rank down that far just to be able to get that footage, it still wouldn't guarantee that I'm having the same experience that someone else is going to have in a typical 1700 lobby. So there are some variables that make that difficult, but again, the specific things that I talk about over time will add up to a better X rank. I do stand by that. But anything else, at least about that match that you played or that I played, that you'd like to talk about, or should we call it good there?
I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah, I find Bucket very difficult to play.
If you want, I could also do a quick review of Madness's bucket play on Jackpot.
Yeah,
But
because
that's the only other way I could figure we could get
so
a
actually
little more out of this.
I was trying to find the recording to see if I could find the. I kind of wish, to some degree, high-level matches, you know, were public. The replay codes for them were publicly accessible. You know, so more people could see.
Mm-hmm. On one hand, that's like a really good thing to have. On the other hand, they can't do that all the time because their opponents will use it against them.
Yeah.
So it's like there are definitely content creators who do that, and there are people who stream when they're just playing casual matches and stuff. Like, you could watch Kyo. Kyo's a bucket player, good player to watch there. You could watch. I'm pretty sure Madness streams. All of Jackpot have been really proactive about trying to have a presence on social media and whatnot.
Because the three weapons I've been picking up a lot of lately is ballpoint, splatter, and V-slash. And I would like to try to get better at those. But I don't know if, like, obviously you don't want to expand too much or be too narrow in your weapon selection. But
yeah, like I don't make individual weapon guides because that only helps like 1/80th of the population who plays the game.
Yeah.
I try to keep things more general, and typically it is the more general things that everyone needs to work on. It's like what people are messing up is not I need to be standing on this position instead of this position on Wahoo World with the Splatana wiper. It's more what kinds of positions do I want to play in with this weapon and why? And you can apply that sort of thinking to a wider range of different situations than specific map knowledge would give you.
Yeah. And didn't you do a weapon select thing for like buckets, shooters, or am I misremembering that?
Yeah, I played a game on each one of them and talked as much as I felt comfortable talking about on all of the weapons. It's not to say I'm an expert on most of them even, but
yeah.
You know, at least having a competitive level understanding of the game, I find, is usually helpful. Because there are definitely people who have less of an understanding than me who are still making guides.
Yeah. Because I feel like if you had general guides for just general weapons, like, you should try to do this for buckets. You should try, obviously, you know, it varies. You know, it depends, obviously. But I feel like having weapon genre guides would help a lot of players, including myself. You know, because obviously, what's good for any given meta is always going to shift.
Well, how would the content that you're looking for be different from what I've already made for the Weapon Select series?
I feel like to some degree it's a little bit slightly different because the maps on Splatoon 2 are a little bit more choke point heavy, so how you play them is
Well,
a little bit different, but
make
for the most point,
Splatoon 2 Weapon Select. Like, they were all for Splatoon 3. Like, are you saying more specific to map modes for each weapon?
yeah.
At that point, we're getting, like... We're
I
getting
guess,
to a
yeah,
level of
when you're getting
specificity
too
that is just not going to
specific,
perform on YouTube. Because, again, like, that's a very, very specific group of people who are going to get any value out of it. And that's not what's going to get advertising revenue for YouTube. And that's what really drives the algorithm at the end of the day. But... I did used to make a map mode guide, like, not weapon specific, but just here's when this comes up.
I wish those would come back, but those were so time intensive and didn't get a whole lot of use, sadly.
They took a long time to make, took a long time to watch. And that was just to talk generally about various roles, like, it wasn't even talking about individual weapon strats. The game is complex. Yeah. It's a competitive game, and I can't just make a guide about everything that you need to learn about it.
Yeah, because the two maps, like, even if I could just get your insight on positions for Crab Capital, because that one in particular with the large open central area, I find it very difficult sometimes to approach if there's anything with range. Like, I had an awful game the other day where it was when the rotate first switched. I was playing with some people, and we had to play a coordinated game against 4 heavy edits on Crab Cap, and they were just taking turns, charging up, and it was, I think it might have been zones at the time. They were just taking turns, shooting constantly, so that there was never really an opening to approach. And I wasn't really exactly sure how to deal with that, because your options are go left, go right, or try to climb the wall on the right side and go above that little tiny ledge. But I tried a couple of those, and I just couldn't really figure out a good way to get in.
So one of the things to think about is that a lot of what we talked about today wasn't really to do with positioning at all, and it was to do with stealth. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Just think about what was I doing that was giving myself away so they knew to shoot at me. Some of the things would be figure out, okay, they're not going to stand right on top of each other, so can I come in from an extreme side so that I only have to deal with one of them at a time and I can get that one when it's charging? There are a lot of variables, again, but try and figure out, like, when are they not going to be shooting at you? When are they not going to be threatening me? And what can I do at that point? How can I position myself so that when they aren't able to hit me, that is when I can go in and get them before they're able to do anything in return? And maybe the answer is I just need to throw bombs and tri-strikes, or I just need to paint for it and get a special ready. But, like, that's an answer. They're not going to move forward very quickly, so you work from there. And see what your teammates give you. See what your teammates set up for you so that you can finish it off.
Because, that and the new map, Ship Shape, I was just kind of struggling with a little bit. Trying to figure out how to get in stealthily.
I think, again, like, you're repeatedly thinking about this in terms of this map, this level geometry, what do I do? Think more in terms of, in general, what do I do? Yeah. What questions do I ask myself to get to the answers to those very specific questions?
Yeah.
Because you can ask yourself those individual questions until you're blue in the face, but if you have an underlying principle that answers all of them, now that's a working theory of the game that will help you even on new maps.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be it for our stream. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I've got to get going because I've got a phone call I've got to take.
But we will go and raid out to... Let's see who's live right now. Let's go say hi to Lumo. Lumo's playing Salmon Run. Lumo likes Salmon Run. We like Lumo. We will go and watch Lumo play Salmon Run. Thanks for watching, everybody. Raid messages, school's out. If you want a VOD review like the one you saw, go find the Squid School Discord server and just DM me, Stratagem, or I think it's just Gem in there. And let's go and say school's out to Lumo.
Egg.
Egg.